What's up, everybody? Welcome to this evening's stream. We're here in EGL 1 Season 2, and we're in the lower bracket between Big 5 and Sinister 5. It's the battle of the fives tonight, Nick. One of them progresses to the top 4, while the other is going to be going home in 5th or 6th position. So everything to play for tonight. Such a big game. One of these teams is being eliminated. Man, I don't want to see either of these teams go, but we're going to have to. What are your thoughts on this game, bro?
Dude, I must say, the winner of this game, they're in the money. They're guaranteed getting their hands on the green dollar, and everyone wants that. Tonight's game, it's gonna be interesting. Because I mean, you alluded to it on Twitter. Obviously, Big 5, they're not playing with Mokhmat, they're playing with EXE, which, in all honesty, is quite a big X factor to play with. Because you consider the team, are they going to take the game seriously? Are they just going to take it as sort of like a last hurrah, playing with EXE, who is obviously their ex-teammate for people who don't know? Or are they going to try clamp down, play seriously against Sinister 5, who they've had a bit of a shaky result, but they have been able to, where they won a series against DNMK recently, so they've also proven themselves in the South African scene. So in all honesty, it's an extremely 50-50 matchup tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely is, man. I think the fact that, as you just brought up, is going to be one of the main themes and storylines going into this game is the fact that Mokhmat isn't going to be featuring and EXE is going to be in his place. Now, we saw that Royalty actually played a game with EXE already, and that was against Ekasi, where they managed to beat Ekasi fairly comfortably in the end, especially on, I think it was in Inferno, where they had that really one-sided victory, if I recall correctly. So the point is, we've seen that Royalty can still be very deadly with EXE in the ranks. The one thing I will say is that we spoke to God's Not Dead afterwards in the interview, and you brought up the point now, how seriously are they going to be approaching this? He said in the interview that they were just taking things very light-hearted in their game against Ekasi, looking to have fun. Everybody was laughing and not really taking the occasion too seriously. So it's probably going to be something slightly similar coming into this game tonight against Sinister 5. So when you take that information and you look at it from the opposite perspective, from Sinister 5's perspective, Nick, I kind of feel like they're seeing this as a must-win situation, playing against a Big 5 without one of their key players in Mokhmat. This surely is Sinister 5's game for the taking here in this lower bracket. Really, really vital match. You've got your full core 5. You've been playing with Frozen for a while now. They've been looking pretty good. This is the moment they need to shine.
Yeah, and I think Big 5, they could come across as a bit scary, you know. I think if you think about the phase of early this year where they were still playing with Olaf Master, that was sort of a last hurrah, and they were able to still pull off some pretty decent results, taking maps off some big teams. So will Big 5 be the same? It's something to keep in mind, but definitely coming into this game, Sinister 5, there's no reason why they should look at themselves as underdogs. I think coming into this game, it's a must-win for them. I mean, imagine the reputation you get after if you lose this sort of a game. You lost to a team with a stand-in, and this should be a team that you're beating with the stand-in, even though Sinister 5, they've been putting up good results in VS. They've obviously stayed in Premier Division for VS for the first leg, so this is a must-win for Sinister 5. I think, as you said, they've been playing with the same roster for a while. Yeah. And I think, in all honesty, Sinister 5 probably come in tonight as favorites. I think Big 5, they have a bit of an X factor with them, playing with EXE, playing a bit loosey-goosey. But I think Sinister 5, they got to clamp down. They got to get the victory tonight. It doesn't matter if it's 2-0, 2-1, hopefully 2-0. Wink, wink. Hopefully it's 2-0 for Sinister 5's case, because I think they need this victory tonight.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I think that's definitely sort of my sentiments coming into this one as well. Nick, let's talk a little bit about maps that we're going to be seeing this evening. First up is going to be Dust 2, picked by Big 5. I mean, not too much surprise there when we saw this, when we were assuming the type of playstyle we're going to be seeing. Big 5 sounds perfect. Rather, Dust 2 sounds perfect for Big 5 because we know that that's a map you can just be super puggy on. You can sort of just go with the flow. You don't have to be very stringent and structured in your approach, in particular on the T side. So I think that's going to play nicely into their strengths. And then after Dust 2, we're going to be seeing Mirage picked by Sinister 5, which they're sort of converting into a bit of a home pick. I mean, they've started to look very comfortable on the map. I mean, I think they got blown out the water by DNMK, if I recall correctly, not too long ago. And then the Decider is going to be Train if we do go the distance.
Yeah, I think Big 5, if they have a chance of winning the series, I think it'll have to be in 2, in all honesty. I think if you look at Dust 2, it lends itself to that sort of like puggy playstyle, as you said.
Yeah.
You only need a couple set smokes. You smoke long corner, that's a smoke you need to know, which pretty much everyone knows. Then you can 5-man out. 2 smokes for the cross, you got the site. Mid B smoke is pretty much only a door smoke on B. You know, there's nothing too complex.
Maybe an Xbox smoke as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's overrated.
if you want to take it to the next level.
Just drop it to why not?
I mean, Frozen with an AWP, you know.
I mean, we'll see what happens. But I mean, I think from Big 5's point of view, I'm kind of questioning the Mirage pick from Sun 5 in all honesty, because yes, they've been making it a home pick, But surely you got to look for some sort of a punish pick for this Big Five team. You know, you're looking at maybe a map that's a bit more technical, like Train, even though that is the decider. It's a bit more of a technical map. You have to be able to play with your teammates. You have to have a good understanding of what your teammates is doing on the other side of the map, even a T or CT side. So I think it's quite interesting that Sinister Five are just sort of backing their guns and going with the Mirage. Maybe that comes back to bite them. We don't know, because obviously Mirage, most played map probably in the pool right now. Everyone just, you can rush A, you can rush B. It's sort of puggy in that regard. So maybe Sinister Five might come to regret that pick. But then again, maybe it's the converse. Maybe they're super comfortable. Maybe they're going to shut down Big Five shenanigans, and maybe it'll be a relatively easy victory for Sinister Five.
Yeah, I think you just touched on the two opposing schools of thought there that we could see Sinister 5 considering. Clearly, they decided to go with, let's just pick our strengths. We're not going to try and, pull off any map pick shenanigans here to try and get the better of Big 5 in the veto. We're just going to go with what we're comfortable of straight up off the bat, going into Mirage. And, I mean, so you think that this needs to be 1-2-0 if Big 5 are going to be winning the series tonight because you're not as confident in their train because EXE is a part of the mix now? Is that sort of the school of thought that you're going off there?
Yeah, I think so, because obviously I think how EXE plays with bravado. So obviously people who don't know, maybe you're a bit living under a rock. Obviously EXE, he isn't playing for Big 5.
Oh, we're in the pistol round. Okay.
Oh,
sorry,
we are.
We're
still live. But basically, I think if Big 5 want to win, they got to win this 2-0.
Okay, well, there we go, guys. Niix laid down the gauntlet. Let's see if his boys can get the job done. Here we go into the pistol round. Frags back and forth being traded right now. Lately going to be the responder, hoping to be the difference maker. Oh my god, how does he pivot 180 and take down Ninja's gone short? All of a sudden, it's turned into the imposters 1 versus 3. EXE even got the bravado tags on as he flexes them loud and proud. But tonight, he dons the colors of Big 5. He's got so much time to work with. He spots out lately. How is lately still alive? So low on HP. Still takes another shot, and it's not going to be fatal for him just yet. You can see Sinister 5 are looking to play the long game right now. They've got the bomb isolated. Chappie spots him on the cross, and now it's all sheer. And he lands an easy one-tap. So that's Sinister 5 on the board here on Dust 2.
Yeah, Sinister 5 starting off well. Obviously, being Big 5's map pick, we've spoken about everything that could come into this. Obviously, a bit more puggy play style. I don't think we're going to expect anything too intricate coming out from Big 5. I don't think we're going to see... Oh, there's a bit of a money problem.
I'm checking this. They didn't get a bomb plant. What?
Yeah, God's Not Dead and Doobie should both be above $2,000 because they got a kill. I think they may have started with...
Because when you lose the pistol round, you're supposed to get 2 counts of round loss bonus, remember?
Yes.
Okay, so they only have 1 count of round loss bonus right now, which means they only got $1,400 instead of $1,900, which I believe is the amount they're supposed to get after losing the pistol.
But now...
If I'm not mistaken, I might be.
From what I understand, God's Not Dead and Doobie, because they got the $300 kill bonus, the $200 kill bonus from the Glock, they should be just over $2,000 with the pistol. No, they should be able to buy Deagle this round without being able to go too low on money. I just don't.
That's why.
This is a confusing. Yeah, I think you're correct. I think they're $500 worse off.
So we'll just check exactly what's going on with that while we figure things out. We can just sort of break down this game a little bit more. Pistol round looked very clean for Sinister 5 for the most part. I mean, everybody getting in on the action there for the most part. And their shots were landing, looking pretty good. Early days, of course, but Sinister 5 find themselves on the board, which is, always a nice little thing to settle yourself into the affair here in the lower bracket semi-final. You want to try and get comfortable as quickly as you can, and winning the first round on your opponent's map pick is certainly a way of doing that. Nick, let's talk a bit about what else we got going on the opposite side of the lower bracket, which is the game we'll be seeing on Thursday, DNMK versus WRG. I mean, that's going to be a fantastic matchup. I think, as we've touched on at this point, it's only super entertaining games from here on in for the rest of the event. And DNMK and WRG is not going to be anything less, right?
Oh my, dude, that's a juicy one to say the least.
Yeah.
I mean, WRG, they've had a bit of a slow start, all things considered, with everything that's gone on. But I think they're starting to hit their stride recently. I think they've started to play really, really good CS. I mean, you think back where they would have lost to Zion, and then they ended up wiping the floor with Zion, and then they built up on more and more. They actually beat Goliath 2-0 in VS. Yes, Goliath are playing with Zip, but I think if you're WRG, you take that with full confidence. I think WRG,
Yeah.
I think they're starting to hit their stride a bit. I think they've had a while with this 5. I think what they've been saying is Carlo or PND, he's been starting to drill in the basics, and now they're starting to build on top of the basics. Now they're starting to get a bit more of an in-depth sort of look of the game. And I think WRG are definitely going to be one to look out for. With that DNMK WRG game, in all honesty, I don't think there's a straight up favorite. I think maybe DNMK will be going in as favorites, but I don't think it should be painted that way. I think both these teams are extremely similar and they play similar CS. And I think that game could genuinely go either way in the low bracket. I don't think there's anyone who's going to absolutely stomp the other teams. So, I mean, this
Yeah,
low bracket's
absolutely.
open for anyone right now.
I mean, Nick, when you look at the I think it's what like the quartet or the grouping of 5 of Big 5, Sinister 5, WRG, and DNMK, I feel like I'm leaving and Goliath, of course. So those 5 teams are all like capable of beating one another actually on a good day. Like we've got a super closely contested 2nd to 6th position in top teams in the country. Of course, ATK at the summit, but between 2 and 6, man, that's so tough to try and call. You know who you think is in the ranking in what particular order? Because like I said, on any good day, one of these teams are capable of beating one another.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's super open, all things considered. I mean, the upper brackets, obviously ATK, they've been the favorites throughout the whole year. They're going to be facing Goliath in the upper bracket final. So I think that one's a bit more one-sided, all things considered. However, that being said, Goliath, they're starting to hit their stride recently as well. I
Yeah,
mean, we
they are.
casted their game. They played DNMK,
DNMK.
and
Yeah.
their T side looked polished. Their T side looked really good. So ATK obviously coming out as favorites, obviously getting ready to gear up to get overseas. But I think Goliath, maybe we see a map get taken off ATK, or maybe there's a possible upset in the cards. I mean, I think this bracket's super open. I don't think there's I don't think there's a surefire winner out of these last 6 teams.
Yeah. Can you imagine like how hungry ADM is for that win over ATK? I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
yeah, he must
yeah.
people want that so badly right now. I know that Elusive also does as well. So guys, if you're wondering why we've gone into podcast mode, it's because I've lost connection to the server because it's been shut down. That's cool. That's cool. Everything's fine. We're on top of things right now. There we go. Um, but yeah, we're just figuring out a few technical issues right now that we've got between Big 5 and Sinister 5, and then we're going to be jumping straight back into things here on Dust 2. As we touched on, if you're just joining us, sort of mine and Nick's sentiment for this game is the fact that we think this is Sinister 5's game to lose. I mean, the fact that they're coming into this lower bracket semi-final, fighting for their lives in the event, and they've got their full roster. They've been together for a while now, so they've had the chance to gel and mesh and gain that synergy. They should be the favorites coming into this game, in my opinion. Especially, Mokhmat he's one of the heavy fraggers for Big 5. So the fact that they're missing him, even though they have another heavy fragger in EXE, it's still not ideal for the pack of animals that are Big 5. And we're going to be seeing how they approach tonight. And last time we spoke to God's Not Dead after their game against Akasi, he did mention that they were taking things fairly lighthearted, looking to have quite a lot of fun, not being very serious in the game. So I'd assume you're going to be seeing something similar. But Nick, sometimes that mentality and that sort of school of thought and process of thinking can actually bring about like a lightheartedness in terms of the approach to the game. And that in turn actually really lowers the amount of stress on each individual. And sometimes, guys just go and have a bit of flair and flamboyance in their approach and end up pulling off some sick wins. So I mean, I don't think that Big 5 will by any stretch out of this. And in fact, maybe my point is this discrepancy in their lineup might actually just take the pressure off their shoulders a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was an interview with, I think, Zipnix and the ESL guys, and essentially what happened is there was a game that went on during the ESL Pro League, and Fnatic were confirmed to go out, and then Astralis were going to play Fnatic the next day. And the way Zipnix put it is, a team that has nothing to lose is a scary team, regardless of what team it is. I think you can go far and wide. ATK with the team nothing to lose, obviously they're extremely, extremely scary regardless. But I mean, I think you can go to both spectrums. I think, as you said, a team with nothing to lose is a scary team. And I think coming into tonight, all the pressure's on Sin 5. I think everyone expects Sin 5 to win. I think Sin 5 will expect themselves to win. I don't think anyone will have Big 5 winning, considering they're playing with EXE, considering they're not playing the full 5 in this tournament. So Big 5, they then fall into the category of a team with nothing to lose. So then it's the other sort of sentiment. How scary can they be? What sort of strats have they got? Are they just going to pug it out, push smokes, play super like unpredictable CS, what is going to come out from them? That's also going to be the X factor that Big Five have working in their favor. And maybe Sin 5 will maybe play with a bit more respect in that regard because they don't really know what sort of curveballs Big Five have got coming their way. Maybe there's a super whack strat where all of them are pushing smokes or something like that, or maybe maybe a couple too many Zeus's are going to be bought on buy around, stuff like that. maybe we're going to see a bit of a wonky stuff coming out from Big Five. I think. But I think the main sentiment is Sin 5 should be winning this game, and I think all the pressure is going to be on them.
Yeah, I completely agree, man. I'm really looking forward to delve into this one. So, of course, we're slightly behind watching this game on GoTV, but the boys are all sorted and live once again in real time. So in a couple of minutes, we'll be back underway here on the stream. And it looks like I think they're actually just emulating the pistol round, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure. Anyway, we are sorting things out and we're going to be jumping back in momentarily. Nick, let's talk a little bit about the giveaway just to let everybody know we're going to be giving away one of these phenomenal, fantastic swag, whatever superlative you choose to use. There's a bunch of them with these cool shirts. We're going to be giving away one of these a little bit later on. We'll open that up somewhere throughout the first map. And then just so you guys know, we have another game coming up on Thursday as well. That's going to be DNMK versus WRG. Same time, same place on this very channel. So 7:30, make sure you join us for that game as well. And yeah, what else can I say besides it's going to be straight up fire from this point here on in for the rest of the competition. And it looks like we're going to have straight fire going into the rest of tonight as well because we're about to jump into the game. Everything's been resolved. Nick, I was spot on. My maths is amazing. They should have got $1,900, but they didn't. And now we're back into the second round here. Everything as it exactly should be.
Yeah, and I mean, all the players went through pretty much all 9 yards. I mean, Lately was asking for someone to tag his armor because he knew that he took a gunshot. So they literally reincarnated the pistol round just as if it happened. Everyone killed the player they were supposed to kill. Everyone's armor was tagged, and essentially, we're back live as if this was supposed to happen 5 minutes ago.
Love the positivity, by the way.
Playing football in sport.
Yeah, no, this is the warm up. It's one touch. Oh, that was a poor pass though. God's not dead with a solid one. Just passing it back and forth right now. Looking for Ninja's on the through ball. Leggy actually going to come in as he sends it wide. Oh, poor ball from EXE. Has to be retrieved. And now we're just watching him. Actually, God's not dead goes for the shot, but Doobie won't let it get past him. Poor communication there. 2 players going for the ball. And oh man, it's just a mess up here from Big Five. They need to get some new tackies. Yeah, they forfeit. It's done.
That's not good enough. That's not good enough. It's absolutely not good enough. Now they're just going to push lowers and just go into the meat ground at bottom mid.
I just casted a FIFA game there. Nick Chappie, yeah, he's going to look to pad his stats up here. Although maybe with his tail between his legs, he's going to be getting to a slightly safer position. Then he lets the FAMAS do the talking with the triple kill. Sheer and Lately get in on the action as well, and it's 2-0 Sinister 5.
Love the eco frags. Love that. Those are confidence boosters. Everyone enjoys those, you know. Playing, you see a whole bunch of Glocks, and then you shout to your teammates, give me an eco frag, please. I'll ask kindly. But Lately, he's going to be starting off 3-0. Sheer has also not got a death to his name. The same can be said about Chappie as well. And we're going to see the first gun round coming out from Big Five. 5 AKs, 5 smokes, and a plethora of utility to work with. Now the game's going to start.
Yeah, this is the get-go. Now we're going to be really seeing things get stepped up to the next level. One thing I will say is Sinister 5, they're on a bit of a bonus round here. Nick, you can see on all 5 players, they have more than enough money to buy up again in the next round. And Chappie, he's going on a bit of an excursion here, and he's managed to work his way into long doors. It's actually such a strong position to be in if the T's haven't cleared you out or realize that you made the cross. So you might be able to get some work done from this position for the time being. After taking long, Sinister 5 will now focus some of their resources towards short. Lately on the ledge here, waiting for some support flashes to come through from Frozen whenever he gets some information. And Sinister 5 just pausing right now with a very default sort of stock standard hold here on the CT side. Now Lately waits for the opportunity. Flashbang comes through, but he can't capitalize.
I mean, this gunfight towards long is where all things are going to go. Is Chappie going to hold his ground, or is he going to try and get some extra information? So God's Not Dead is actually going to leave. The bomb's going to get retrieved. So now the question is, does Chappie push? Does he stay? How are Big Five going to push and pull around the map to try and bait one of these CT players into a bad rotate or gathering information? But one thing, as soon as this mid-B smoke comes out, that should be Chappie's call. Now he's going to push long, and now they've got a fast flank going. However, Sin 5, how do you react to that? Mid-B is going to be on the cards.
Oh, no. Chappie tapping away, just get some chip damage down, and it's still all of a focus on the V-bomb site right now. Ruben able to get one, but he's been dispatched off as well, and Chappie, he's hightailing right now. He's actually been able to isolate the bomb. God's not dead. He swings out and does the dirty work himself with the triple kill in the round. Such a big triple kill as well because his IGL Ninjas was very low there. Nearly gets caught off by the rampaging Chappie, but in the end, God's not dead has the cover, and Big Five are on the board through the way of their first gun round.
Yeah, Big Five purchased the first gun round, and I think everything was good there. I think just from Sinister Five's point of view, they didn't do anything to delay. Ruben, as soon as he saw the hinge smoke come out, he mollowed mid-doors, which is kind of interesting considering you think about the length of a mollow, which is around between 7 and 8 seconds, and the length of a smoke is 18 and upwards. So
Yeah.
you see the hinge smoke and then you're modeling behind it. Like, there's no real need. Like, if you're a T, you just waiting that out. Imagine if Ruben, rather, when he saw the mid B smoke, he mollies mid. Then it's a completely different round. Then Chappie can come in on the flank. He doesn't have to rush his shots, and then it's probably Sin 5's round to lose. But I think it's all the minor details that come into the difference between these rounds. I mean, that was just a nice 3K coming out from God's Not Dead, which was able for Big Five to win the round. All things considered, Big Five posted the first gun round, and since the Five, they started off good. They had a good pistol round, a good follow up, not losing any players, and now it's back to square one. They got to win this force buy back. The question is, do they force buy back? You got like 4.8k on lately. You could get some Deagle armor going, and then see if you can buy up in the next. But you'll know that sort of Big Five's money's on the ropes as well.
Yeah. I would be advocating for the save here if I'm Sinister 5. I think you want to get that AWP in Frozen's hands as quickly as you can, in particular because they're on the CT side of Dust 2, and it's just such a great weapon to have, especially when you've got an AWP who is as talented as Frozen is. So yeah, I think they should be looking to save here, just play the long game. You can actually afford to, get a bit of a stronger eco round going, some armor on a couple players with upgraded pistols as well. That would be the route I'm going if I'm Sinister 5, because if they force up here and they lose 2-2, have to eco 2-3, I guess they got some round loss bonus behind them, but they'll be in a fairly similar position, a couple rounds from now if they don't end up saving here and if they lose. So I say play the long game and buy in the 5th, but we'll see what they end up opting for.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I think if you just buy to 2k, I think you're pretty sorted. For some of the players, that is. I think if you're Frozen, you just keep as much money as you can. I think maybe lately he can purchase up like a Scout maybe, and then the other players maybe just Eagles, and then then you can still do some damage, because the main point coming into this round is whether you're buying or whether you're ecoing, the main point is you just got to do damage to Big Five's economy, regardless of how you do it, whether it's 5 USBs or you just can't let Big Five run away with this. Because if all 5 players stay alive for the side of Big Five, then it's a different round. Then you've pretty much not done what you've meant to. So they are just going to purchase up a couple of Deagles, a USP on Sheer, just keeping above that 3.5k mark. And we're going to see how much damage can Sin 5 do. Big Five should be winning this, and we should be seeing a 2-all score.
This might come back to bite me, but I like the fact that Sinister 5 are keeping, some extra residual cash in the bank. Always see, Oaks pushing the limit as much as they can as to how much they invest in their eco rounds, sort of going, sometimes even sub 2,000, like the guy had like 1,950 or something like that. And I think that's pushing it. Here, they're ensuring they can get the double AWP if they want. They'll have full util. They'll have head armor. They'll have kits as well. And they're just foregoing armor in this round to ensure that they can afford those extra expenses later on. So I like this maturity coming out of Sinister 5. Chappie, again, showing a tendency to get aggressive here into long doors. Up close with this P250, we know that it's lethal. You can find that one-tap headshot with the P250 up close. And he certainly would be like, he certainly would like to capitalize on a few frags in this position.
Yeah, and it all comes down to when does Chappie choose to activate? Because God's Not Dead, he's actually be inquiring. Chappie can't get the frags. That's an important frag. Now, God's Not Dead, he knows 2 nades were thrown over towards Bomb early in the round. Nice kill Chappie, so now he thinks maybe 1 more over towards A. Obviously, Sin 5 have completely shifted the setup. They've actually got 2 players towards the B site. May try pressure this B uppers lurk from Doobie, but it does look like it's a 3-man mid lane. I was about to say that, so now the Sin 5 players, they're actually going to go back towards the B site. So if you're a Big Five, I don't think you can necessarily go wrong with just contacting into a site somewhere, whether you contact mid B, contact out long, where you contact out short. Then the main point is you just can't show your hand. Make sure you don't walk into a stack. You're going to flash out long, and I think that's going to be the activation. That's going to be the tell of where Big Five want to end this round.
Yeah, like you said, you just want to play contact and try and use the fact that you've got a numbers and weaponry advantage, and you just want to sort of brute force your way into the situation, and that's exactly what they've done through long. Shia has retrieved the AK, so I mean, at this point, there is still potential for Sinister 5 to deal some economic damage, and just chip away at what Big 5 have to work with going into the next few rounds, and I reckon that's the best they can hope for at this point. I don't think there's any realistic world in which to actually make this retake happen. Frozen can add an extra $300 to his tally, however. He starts edging his way out. Oh, clean shot onto Ninja. You can barely see a pixel above the car. Shia with the AK, considering getting in on the action there as well, but you can see he's now decided to leave lately high and dry. He's just, you know, farming kills at this point, dealing further economic damage. So, good result for Sinister 5, all things considered.
Yeah, I mean, you always speak about that magic number in Eco rounds, and that's 3. In this round, Ninjas, Doobie, and Leggy all fall, so that means God's Not Dead and EXD, they can only drop over 2 rifles. That means one of the players more than likely have to invest in their own. Otherwise, if you have a couple player with maybe a bit of a surplus in the money department, they can drop 2. But I mean, now look at Big 5's money. It's on the ropes once more because of those 3 kills that you afforded to go your way. So it's in 5. That's a pretty successful eco round, all things considered. You got an AK out of it as well, so you did the damage. You got a rifle for your tasks, and now you take the next round.
Yeah. I mean, Big 5 don't have enough money in the bank to buy up again in the next round if they lose this one. So Sinister 5 have a great opportunity to sort of pull ahead here once again. Lately, he's going to try and fake that somebody's in the corner by extinguishing the molly. Flashbang comes through, but no opportunity there for him to get a kill. In fact, Frozen is going to be the player to draw first blood here as he takes down his opposite number. I don't even see if Leggy actually had the AWP. He might have. He did have the AWP, in fact. So Frozen winning out that duel early on here. It's going to be a great battle to watch play out, by the way. We haven't really touched on that, but the Frozen versus Leggy is a battle I'm really looking forward to here as we start sinking our teeth into this lower bracket semi-final matchup. Chappie secures a 2-man advantage up for Sinister 5, and at this point he doesn't have to work for anything from here. He can just take that advantage to the bank, cash it, and work on the rest of the round. Looks like Sinister 5 are keen on maintaining short control, however. Chappie going to avoid that flashbang, and he actually adds 2 more to his tally as well. This is a stern defense coming out of Sinister 5 right now. In fact, not even a single one of their players is going to get taken down, and the double AWP has been secured.
Yeah, I think that's obviously best case scenario. I mean, look at Big 5's money. We're speaking about the impact that eco round of the previous did to their economy. And just like that, you win 1 buy round, and Big 5, they're back on eco once more. Just 4 deagles across the players, a Glock on Leggy's belt, and just like that, if you're Sinister 5, you should be expecting a 4-2 scoreline. Yeah. One thing I think is going to be interesting is Ruben seems to be more than happy to trade his utility towards middle, which isn't really good, in all honesty, because you often see teams nowadays, they're mollying close middle to make sure they clear out those close cubbies when they want to like contact out the doors. But if you're one of those B players, obviously you use a molly towards tunnels early to stop the B rush, but then your other molly is extremely valuable. You know, if they want to threaten a B split, you can molly the tunnels to stop them. Maybe they have to extinguish it and come through a smoke. Or you can mollo the door if you're playing like too heavy on the side, stuff like that. Like that mollo and that util that you have towards mid and towards B is extremely valuable. And I think if you're Ruben, you can't be trading it so easily in middle. You're not feeling pressured when that mid mollo comes in. You're not playing in that position. You don't have to mollo in response. So maybe that's something that Big 5 could choose to like maybe hone in on and maybe try threaten a mid B more often, considering how Ruben's using his utility towards middle.
Yeah, I think that's spot on, right? Because then if they're able to overcome the middle and secure that map control, they know how much easier it's going to be taking B control. Because as you alluded to, the core B player, the lone B defender, is going to use his util very early on. So they won't have any response at that point. So I think that's spot on. The question is, you know, are Big 5 privy to it? Are they aware of it? You know, are people in the team sort of keeping count of these smaller, finer details? To do. EXE nearly actually finds 2 kills there as the last player left alive, but it's not going to happen. Sinister 5 go 2 rounds clear of Big 5. So Nick, it's not even the best economic situation. I mean, had they not bought deagles across the board in the previous round, I actually think they're able to buy in this round, but now they're going to have to forego the buy once again.
Yeah, and that just comes down to util management. Sometimes you get a bit greedy in the eco round. You're like, nah, I'm going to buy a deagle, and then you don't get any kills with it, and then you're left in the situation you are, where instead of ecoing 1 round, you actually we're in like a sort of like false double eco scenario where you actually
Yeah.
didn't think you were double eco, but you actually were. Now you only realize that when the buy round comes in this. So Ninja's been flashed into mid doors. Ruben's been playing behind the smoke. He's going to be able to catch him out. But this player towards close, long, Chappie, he's dropped the smoke and he doesn't have the gun back to get ready to shoot these players coming out the long doors, which means that part of the map has gone Big Five's way. And now since the 5, they're pushing and pulling for this map control.
It looks like Big Five have reassessed their situation and are going to be taking alternative actions to try and get through this round. They were committing to the long take, but realized quickly enough that there's probably been enough time for Sinister 5 to rotate lately. With actually a very nice shot down to God's Not Dead, down the range. Gets the headshot, and off the back of the flashbang is going to be finding some key information as well. Ruben repositioning himself just in time to spot out a couple players in middle. Not connecting on his shots, nor is Sheer. In fact, Sheer's going to go down to the Desert Eagle and Leggy. And Ruben will get a kill, but he needs to make sure he stays alive here. He's such an integral part of the defense. Frozen on the cross has the job to do now, and it's completely falling apart at the seams here for Sinister 5. Somehow it's ended up in lately in the 1 versus 1 against Leggy. No armor here for Leggy, so just one bullet should do the job from Lately's AK. But the way that this round has gone, it's anybody's round for the taking right now. This has been completely blown open. Leggy secures the plants. I mean, this is a fantastic result for Big Five, all things considered. Bomb plants, 4 frags. Can they actually win this round? Leggy's actually traded up for his favored weapon. It's the AWP, and he's got the angle as well. It's going to come in the corner. It's actually an easy shot for him. Leggy closing out the 1 versus 1, making it look like a retake. A retake server, rather. And a Big Five winning one of the more unlikely rounds this evening.
Yeah, I mean, there was only a couple players with armor, and then just Leggy, who had the deagle, no armor, and just like that, over facing towards middle, people losing their lives, and now you're gonna be thinking, oh, what went wrong that round, boys? It just happened that players were just over peeking towards middle, and just like that, Big Five posts around, and now pretty much easy pickings. That was a gift from Sinister 5.
But like you said, Nick, completely overzealous and too much over peeking coming out of the CT side in that previous round. Taking fights towards middle, which you just don't have to take when you've got such a big numbers advantage. And you've got the weaponry advantage that they have to work with. It's, questionable at best coming out of Sinister 5, their decision making. I think sometimes, like, you know, when Sheer and Ruben are in that position in middle, they're just like, we're about to get these kills. We're going to just farm all 3 of them and the round is going to be over. And then all of a sudden things don't go according to plan. And you end up with egg on your face. So they're going to have to clean themselves up, brush themselves off, and focus on the round at hand, which is this next gun round. All 10 players still alive here as Big Five starts to secure a bit of map control to work with. Got tunnels, got themselves short as well, and they've got options available.
There's no utility for Sin 5 to work with. I mean, look at their belts. There's 2 flashbangs on Lately, a flashbang on Chappie. That flashbang's about to get dropped. Oh, God, I think kills Frozen behind, dude. What the hell?
Yeah, crazy. Frozen's going to feel like he just got so baited there by Chappie, the way that he moved himself off the angle. And Big Five, they're just going to be flying up long right now. Lately, the first responder, he's been able to flash them off, but he doesn't realize he's getting flanked on here by Short. He's just holding the angle, the gap through the smoke. And he will get taken down by that Short player. And now Shearer and Ruben, they have no choice but to take these weapons into the next round. So Big Five getting it done off the back of some God's Not Dead heroics. Nick, in that interview, he mentioned that he's really been enjoying this new role that he's found himself in, you know, sort of focusing on himself as an individual now that Ninjask has taken over the reins as IGL of Big Five, and we're seeing his individual levels actually increased significantly over the past few months, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think God's Not Dead. He's vibing now, you know, like he's just chilling. He knows that he doesn't have to have so much pressure along with the IGLing role, so he can sort of just sit back, relax, and focus on the thing that's in the middle of his screen, which is the crosshair, instead of the other 4 players that are on his team. And I think he's been enjoying it, all things considered. But that round, I don't know what went wrong. Like Chappie looked like he was getting close, looking for a flash. But then Frozen was posted on the angle. And I mean, in all honesty, Frozen did get caught in the crossfire big time. I'm not going to say, Frozen's fault, because he just seemed to die after sitting behind Chappie. So I don't think there's too much to read into. It's just what was Sin 5 doing over towards long that's questionable. But ultimately, Big 5 won the round. 2 rifles able to be saved. Ruben and Cheer have the 2 of them. Amongst the server, Frozen's been spotted towards elevator. 2 close smokes have been thrown from Big 5. Nice, like that.
Dead.
Oh, is he?
Shot. Ruben gets the first.
Is he?
Surely, no ways. He's actually able to find a second. Oh, rattles the third shot off as well. That doesn't connect. Frozen off the back of a flashbang. Tries to get something done. Not able to. There's actually a player in Gandalf box here as well. So lately, he's going to try and bide his time. There's a flank coming through from Chappie, but he's been found out. And now it's just sheer left. The remaining player who was able to save a rifle in the previous round actually gets a smoke dropped, which might give him a bit of room to work with here. Seems like he's considering saving, and I actually think that's a good decision when you see the fact that he only has $1,550 to his name, and the team's going to be getting $2,400 at the end of this round. So they might just be able to consider going for the buy. So yeah, this is good. But Big Five making some moves now, Nick, starting to find some consistency and build a bit of a platform on the T side of Dust 2. Yeah,
definitely, and I do think the T side is going to be possibly. It lends itself more towards the team play than on CT side, which is a little bit more individually based, considering you're locking down a site. So I think Big Five, I think the T side, if anything, is going to be the side they struggle with, considering how much you're playing with your teammates. Whereas as the only thing on CT side is pretty much retakes and then having teammates playing like the supportive roles. So maybe EXE is going to be shoved into more of those anchor positions where he doesn't really have to worry about what his teammates are doing, so that Big Five can pretty much get the most out of him just being a turret. Ooh, Sin 5 have got 4 long. Oh, they're pushing it again. Now they've done this a couple times. The double nade and then they're pushing close. So God's Not Dead, he should have a really good idea about this because it's happened a couple times already.
Yeah, he shouldn't be getting caught off by this, that's for sure. You can see the response from Big Five is to try and secure some control on the opposite side of the map. God's Not Dead saw those 3 nades coming in and would have immediately relayed that information to his teammates. And he has a good inclination that there must be somebody towards these long doors. And he's going to try and bait them back with the audio cues. At this point, though, that's such a common play to make. You should be expecting that as the CT. It is Lately who opens things up, though, and he wants to try and retrieve this AK, but the poison chalice might lead to his undoing. EXE actually going to end up being his next victim. Chappie going to prompt that push coming through long now. Himself and Frozen working hand in hand. Niix is going to go down. So it's completely falling apart here as Leggy's been removed from the equation as well. And now it's just God's Not Dead left in the 1 versus 4. And he only has 1 health, Nick. There's 4 times the players against him right now in this round than what he has HP. How on earth is he expected to win this? And it's Ruben with the AWP on the angle that's going to get across the line. Oh man, Sinister 5. They get gifted an eco round back their way after giving one to Big Five not too long ago.
Oh, I think teams are just trading eco rounds. You know, like Big Five are like, you know, you guys gave us one. We'll give you one back. You know, gentleman's game coming out from them. But right away, since the 5, they're going to purchase up the double AWP, which means Ruben's got $0 in his bank account. But long control is going to go the way of since the 5, as Big 5 have really spread themselves thin across this round. They've got 4 players over towards long, 1 in T-spawn.
Yeah.
He's about to smoke Xbox. They haven't really taken any map control just yet. It does look like that's exactly what the Xbox smoke is going to be doing for them, allowing them to take that sort of control. Doobie's actually flashed towards mid. And now what they've done is they've got that CT player in CT and not on the other side of spawn.
Yeah, exactly.
If you think about it, there's 1 player on 1 half of the map, and if you're a Big 5, you got to try identify this, and that's exactly what Ruben's done. He's understood he's out of position, so he's trying to cross over so he can help his B player.
Yeah, absolutely, Nick. Well picked up on there. That was a bit of a touch and go situation for Sinister 5 at one point. Now the focus is going to be towards the A bomb site. Chappie tasked with locking down long, and Frozen with the big green gun has got his eyes trained towards short, which is where the action is going to be coming through momentarily. Lately going to be the immediate rotator as well, and now that hit's starting to come through. Frozen been forced back by the flash, not going to be connecting as an immediate shot. Throws one high into the sky, and he's looking for options, but he's just going to find a bullet in the brain as he's been departed from the server. And now we need to see this response coming through from Sinister 5. Chappie gets taken down towards long, and that should be the end of the round at this point. Sinister 5 have no choice but to try and take these weapons into the next round, and Big 5 hitting back immediately after losing the previous round.
Yeah, I mean, they looked a bit lost in the early round. It's sort of like they were going to go towards long with the AWP pick, and then there were a couple players getting ready to react off that, but then that didn't happen, and then they just went back towards the short. And as soon as they realized they weren't getting any sort of resistance towards that map, they said, okay, well, let's just execute. And it worked to good effect. One thing I have to say from Sin 5's point of view is their utility usage has not been really good. Because you think about that round, there was no molly to stop the hit. There was no smoke for them to work around. There was just a flash, which Frozen used after he missed his first shot. And that was it.
Yeah.
And there was no other thing to help them. They're using all the utility towards tunnels and mid early. So the rotators don't have any utility to actually retake the bomb site itself. And it seems like their long takes are extremely expensive when it comes into taking that position of the map. So if you're Big 5, you should be happy to play the late round. You should be happy because Sin 5, their util usage has not been really great. And if you can just exec, if you're Big 5, then you'll take that exec because there's no utility to stop you.
Yeah, 100%. Let's see how that ends up playing out here going into the rest of this half as we start to reach the final stages. Sinister 5 investing everything they've got back into this round. Double AWP still in play here for them. But this half can get away from them very quickly if they lose this round, Nick. I mean, a 10-5 is not too far outside of the realm of possibility if Big 5 win this round. So a lot at stake here for Sinister 5. Not so much for Big 5. They've got more than enough to buy up in the next round. So, Frozen waiting. He was waiting for that smoke to be dropped so that he could rattle off the shots through the door. Just misses the timing, though. I like this from Big 5. I've actually really enjoyed the T side that they've put on display, especially in the past sort of 6 or 7 rounds. They've been changing up the pace very nicely, but they've also just been keeping things simple. And now it's the late long take. God's Not Dead, Ninjask and Leggy all working hand in hand to secure the control.
Now look at the util game. Like, you just used the mall over towards short because you're so scared of that side of the map because you played like a 4B lean at the start of the round with Chappie boosting Frozen beyond the smoke, and then Ruben was only play over towards A, and now 30 seconds left in the clock, you got a smoke to work with. So now if you're Big 5, pick a site, execute. You know that the util usage from Sin 5 hasn't been good, and you should be good. If you just split the site, then you'll be good. But Chappie, the short play could be Big 5's demise. 15 seconds.
Yeah, he gets 1 kill as well, and that's going to be stopping Big 5 in the tracks, but they have no choice but to continue to commit here. Charging onto the stage, that Chappie continues to get work done as he brings God's Not Dead down low as well. Bomb plant, not going to be secured lately. In fact, it's actually Sheer who finds both of those kills in the dying seconds of the round, and it's going to be Sinister 5 who answer back and keep themselves in the hunt here in the first half. 6-6. Remember, this is Big 5's map pick as well, guys. We're going to be heading to Mirage next, which is Sinister 5's, and I kind of have them as pretty solid favorites on that map. So Big 5, if they're going to be competitive in this series, in my opinion, they need to start off well here and pick up Dust 2. And they have gotten off to a good start. I mean, 6-6, they've been solid on the T side, looking to add another to the tally. Frozen towards shorts is going to be tested, but he stands tall.
Yeah, and that goes Big 5 set piece down the drain, right? They were pretty much going off that short aggro. Now they're just going to go out long with the players that they have. Doobie's going to model short, so that's going to allow some extra map presence going to go their way. But now man down, you've got 2 smokes, so I assume that could be working as long. EXE can smoke close, Leggy far, some sort of thing like that, and you can go to the site. But there's no flashes to any bomb site, so Sin 5 should be winning this round 9 out of 10 times. The only way they lose this round, in all honesty, is like an overpeak of some sort from one of the players. But in all honesty, there's no ways Big 5 should win this round. Absolutely no ways. You've got 2 smokes. There's no ways you can cross the site. Oh, yeah, this is business.
There we go.
Business.
Shop is closed, bruv.
No.
What are you even doing? It's lockdown, curfew. Lately he's the enforcer and he's looking to add another into the jail cell. Doobie going to be joining his 3 mates. And that's the round over. Statement made lately. 13-4, top of the server right now.
I think Big 5 mollowed car, but I don't know. Maybe the card, the mollowed in the land, or maybe they mollowed. It's that sort of thing where, like, are you molling a position even though you're not going to clear it? Maybe it was one of those, you know, like sometimes you clear a corner, but you don't actually expect someone to be there, but you're just clearing it because you cleared it a million times before. Maybe it was one of those.
Yeah. I'm interested just looking at Sinister 5 setup right now in this anti-eco, how they've adjusted things. I'm surprised that Ruben is still taking such a forward angle towards middle right now. I think that when you are in the anti-eco, you actually can afford to be a lot more passive in the defense. Nice shot there through the door to Leggy. And he's going to have a chance to finish it off as well. He needs to realize, though, that you don't need to be making these sorts of plays, right? You can actually... Oh, okay, fine. You know what, Leggy? You have your lights. You take the spotlight. I don't know what I'm talking about. There we go. Letty comes in and supports him as well. 8-6.
Yeah, I think one thing some teams don't focus on enough is how you're going to play anti-ecos. Like, obviously, you can make the arguments if you don't know when the other team's actually eco, but sometimes you know. Sometimes you know, okay, guys, they have deagles this round. There's no AWP up, stuff like that. You can make those reads in the round, and I think shifting your setup is something that needs to be done, obviously. Like, if you have a solo B player on an anti-eco, that's sort of a question mark, because next thing you know, they're Tech 9 rushing B, they smoke the model, you'll be
oh my god.
Chappy, what's your favorite Chappy color?
Gotta be the blue one for sure. Shia, he's looking to try and add a couple numbers to his tally, and this as they start bursting onto the B bomb site. There's a response here from Chappy as well. He's actually just gonna push straight through the smoke, feeling very bullish right now. Somehow he's been able to get 2 kills. My god, that was haphazard, but the result comes off nonetheless. And now it's a one-man advantage for Sinister 5 as they're gonna have to hold their horses, put the brakes on things, and wait for their opportunity to retake. There's still 4 flashes on the table here for Big 5, and you can see they're a little bit tentative right now, which is a bit of a problem because they've used a lot of that smoke duration to try and make a play, and it's going to be EXE who makes said play. Lately pounces off the back of it. He's been isolated, but it's not going to make a difference. He's been absolutely surgical throughout this entire half. 17-4 he is. 9-6 is the scoreline. And Sinister 5 are ahead here after the first half on their opponent's map pick. Nick, it has to be the blue chappy. Don't even at me on Twitter.
The purple one, no lie.
Purple
one, yeah. The purple.
You know, that's what actually... Yeah?
Yeah, I like it.
Fair. That's the grape one. Yeah, the grape one is good, actually. The thing is like, you know those yellow ones? You gained, like, X-ray vision as a kid to see the colors.
Yeah.
You know, before you bought them. So you knew what you were getting, even though, you know, it was... Yeah, you shouldn't have done it because they're all yellow, but I could see through them. I should have been on the X-Men.
Yeah.
Purple and red are the best, Bim. You're wrong. Your opinion is wrong. Sinister 5 looking to do things right in this round as they start charging through long. All 5 players making their way forward right now. Big 5 playing a pretty retake-heavy strategy as they don't have any solid defense on the say bomb site. Leggy, he's in the corner still right now, and he is going to be peeking out. He's been spotted by Shia, and that's a bit of an awkward one because normally you want to try and get a kill from that position before you've been found out. Now Big 5 are going to have to wait for this long take to come through. 3 players here. Ninja's with the flashes is going to be setting his teammates up. It's almost like Big 5 are still on the T half here, and they're taking long control. Frozen with the P250 is going to be absolutely integral here in the defense. He takes the heat off of Ruben, but Ruben can't find anything. Now it falls on Frozen to try and mount the defense and lock down this part of the map. All in the meanwhile, though, Chappy lately and Shia have found plenty kills, and it's just EXE left, and even though he's got a kit, he's out of the round. Sinister 5 picking up the T-side pistol round sets them up very nicely.
Yeah, I agree. You've already got double digits. Big 5 is staring 6 in the face, and if you're coming into the next, there's the argument of do you full save so you can get M4s up, but if you think about the M4s, you have no utility to take long. Yes, you can get a short boost going, maybe stuff like that, but they're actually just going to full buy into this next. The scouts is up when God's not dead. Doobie and Leggy, as well as Ninjas, have all got deagles in their parts. Doobie's already been tagged. God's not dead's already been tagged.
Oh. That's not an ideal ICL start. Nick, do you think if they combined all the gum that's ever been chewed, the ball would be bigger than Earth? I don't know. I wonder.
Dude, that's like shower thoughts. That's like
I wonder how big that ball would actually be.
Do you ever think about the fact that Mercedes has 3 E's, all of which are pronounced differently? Do you ever think about that?
Okay, but that says more about English than it does about Mercedes.
Yeah, and even less about Chappies, right?
And even less about Chappies. But speaking about Ninjas is trying to channel his inner name, his namesake, as it would be, but not going to end up resulting in the outcome he was hoping for. And in fact, Big 5 are just going to look to try and take these 4-step weapons into the next round, which is absolutely the correct decision. But
yeah.
Sinister 5 looking rampant here, Nick. I mean, 11-6. Yeah, we haven't had a gun round yet in the second half, but they're putting themselves only 5 rounds away from closing out this first map. They're in a great position right now.
I think in all honesty, Sin 5 look comfortable. I mean, there haven't been really many rounds where they've been pushed to the brink. Even on CT side, they've either saved or it hasn't come down to like 1vx's where it's been like a super 50-50 round. It's either been one team's won it and the other team's lost, or
Yeah.
vice versa sort of thing. It hasn't been super close, super contested. Teams trading rounds left, right, and center. It's been pretty much like Sin 5 have their string of rounds, then Big 5 have their string of rounds, and Sin 5 have their string of rounds. And now Sin 5, they're reaping the rewards of that. They posted 6 in a row of looking at the 4 from the previous half, and they're now coming into the 2 into this half. So it should be 3 in this. So that means 7 in a row. 11-6. You should be looking at 12. So
Yeah.
Sin 5, they're looking comfortable. They're looking really good.
Yeah, they are. Frozen also looking good as well. Landed a couple shots with that scout now. And this should be one of the easier rounds that Sinister 5 have had to deal with so far here on Dust 2. Big 5 going on a bit of an excursion here through middle. Doobie with the Desert Eagle is going to be trying to do the damage.
That's the bomb.
Oh, whoa, Leggy? What?
That's the bomb.
What are we witnessing
That
right now?
is
What's
the
going
bomb.
on? How does Leggy get 2 kills there? Doobie finally finds one with the Desert Eagle as well, and now it's all on Shia and Lately to try and salvage the situation here for Sinister 5. And it's looking troublesome. It's looking troublesome. There's the smoke. There's another smoke on Doobie. Couple mollies as well. Sheer and Lately going to try and time this together. As the smoke dissipates, they make their way forward together. Sheer's going to get one, but there's this flank coming through. Leggy needs to try and take the heat as Doobie's got the AK. He finds the timing on point there, and now it falls on Lately in the clutch. He wants to try and isolate both these individuals. He's so concerned about Leggy's position right now. First objective achieved, and that's securing the bomb, but that's only objective number 1.
I'm actually quite a fan of how Big 5 are playing this. They're giving the bomb to Lately. They said, you've got the bomb, now make a decision. They've split up 1-1, which I guess could go wrong, all things considered, but now they know if Lately wants to go plant the bomb, if Lately wants to go win the round, he has to make noise doing so. So one of these players...
15
He
seconds?
doesn't have time. Like, what?
I mean, he has to hit this jump, no problem. First one. I think he can still get it in time, but Leggy's, Leggy's going to be there. Hey, you're right. He doesn't have enough time. He has to just go straight, and he's been slowed down by the scouts already. Lately loses the round without even having a solid crack at it. A bit of a miscalculation there from him. He could have kept going to the B bomb side. He would have found himself with the fight against Doobie, I believe.
Yeah.
But not to be the case. Another eco round being won by Sinister 5 here on Dust 2, Nick. That's 2 of their 7 rounds have been won through ecos, man. That's a big percentage.
Yeah, that is. I would try to tell you, but my mental math is not too great, eh?
Something like 27.5%. Someone in chat, go do the maths and tell us what it is.
Yeah, because
See how wrong I was.
1 out of 8 would be 12.5%, right? So a little bit more than that, maybe 16.67. I think that's it.
2 out of 6 is 33%. Okay, so that means
16.67 then times 2.
2 out of 7. It's more like 28%, I think, or something like that. I don't know. Maybe we should stick to casting and not trying to do maths.
Never do maths on stream. Bad idea.
Yeah, that's sort of my motto as well. Not that I always follow it, but here we are, 11-7, and Sinister 5 have already lost a player. Chappie's been taken down at the hands of Leggy, and then just Long has got a tough job, and he goes down. Yes, Nick.
28.5, dude. That was what came up on the calculator. That's as much HP as Lately
28.5?
has. Look at that.
Oh man, didn't I say like something like that? It's
Maybe.
27.5.
I said that, I think.
Oh, okay. I'll go check the one.
Okay.
We'll see. I'll clip it. 11-7, 1-man advantage off for Big 5 right now. Sinister 5, they've got their shuffle shoes on and they're starting to make their way towards the B bomb site where EXE lies in wait right now. Cue the Jaws music, Nick, because he could get a multi-kill here. He's in a perfect position.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, and he gets all 3. Clean as you like. Always loved seeing the shark, the shark win.
I've been watching so much National Geographic recently, and one of
that's a good
some
thing.
of the dude, they're such
Nature's wild.
interesting animals, bro. Like,
Yeah.
it's so weird. Well,
David
weird, but it's so
Attenborough.
cool.
David Attenborough's got to be one of the OGs in human history, man.
Yo, David Attenborough's a real legend.
I wouldn't mind if he narrated my life. It's like him and Morgan Freeman, bro.
Oh,
2 people.
I don't think you
whose
get much
voices
better
are
than that,
quoted.
bro.
I mean, imagine the 2 of them telling you a story. Yeah, I could listen to that for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, them, and then I'd have Launders. That would be like the
Oh.
the last little one that I'll have at the top there, and then my life, even if my life's in absolute shambles, if it's shambolic from start to finish, that'll
Yeah.
make things a bit better.
Yeah, fair enough. I could get on board with that. 11-9,
Mama.
gonna have a timeout, and it's the CTs who are calling it as well, Nick. It's Big 5, and unfortunately, you're not in the corner right now to offer any advice. What would you be saying to them right now, Nick, in this timeout?
Oaks, stop being so dumb. Just win. Shoot them in the head. Sometimes you just need. Sometimes when you play CS, you just forget that if you shoot the other person in the head, you win. Sometimes you just forget that. So I'd just be there and say, you know what, Oaks? Just shoot them in the head first, and then you win the round.
So
In all
you're
honesty,
telling
though,
me
in all honesty, I think they're expecting a buy from Sin 5 coming out here. That Sin 5, they pressured long on Eco, so maybe Big 5 are expecting them to pressure it on a full gun round, and maybe they're going to send numbers, but actually it's going to be the opposite. They're actually going to try a passive A play and an aggressive B play. So this is the call against pistols, which wouldn't be the read, but Sheer, he's completely caught out, and they've missed the players go towards lowest. That's something to keep in mind.
This has completely ruined the set play, though, for Sinister 5. You can see they had some sort of a plan to try and make work this round, and Big 5 just thrown a massive wrench to interrupt it. Looks like they're still going to try and make it happen. I think this is like a mid to B that they're probably going to be picking out there, but Frozen is just the first one to go down of many at this point, surely. Chappie shouldn't be long for this world either. Nice shot there from Lately. I mean, this is damage at this point. It's just Sinister 5 looking to keep Big 5's economy in check. Big round, though. I mean, if you think about it, Big 5 can draw within one round if they win this, which is looking inevitable at this point. Chappie picking up the M4, which is actually seems cursed. Everyone who used that M4 died, including the CT who started with it. That M4 had 3 different owners in the round, and not one of them got a kill.
All his fault, I must say.
He cursed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. Big gun round here, Nick.
Massive, actually.
AWP and Frozen. Double AWP in play for Doobie and Leggy as well. And it looks like Sinister 5 want to try and take contact out long, but God's not dead. He's going to be winning out that gun duel against Lately. And that sets the round perfectly in motion here for Big 5. Again, as they open things up with the kill. And this is a chance for them to level the scoreline, man. I'm not sure if, there was 6-6 at one point. Since then, it's been all Sinister 5 traffic.
Yeah,
in fact, the game's gone from 11-6, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh. Kobe.
Yeah. Big 5 looking to find their 5th consecutive round here. And that would certainly be putting pressure on Sinister 5 at that point, knowing they had that 11-6 lead, which has sort of vanished into thin air. What do they do from here? It looks like it's going to be the short exec, right? They've got numbers, they've got util. And because they're a man down, they don't have too many options. They have to look to keep things simple here. And while
there haven't been any numbers committing with it.
Oh, Chappie looking to try and take the entry duties into his own hand as he's charging forward. EXE close up on the angle. Window has been mollied. Chappie going to be mollying off the tunnel as well. Frozen with the AWP finds the no-scope. Ninjas gets in on the action as well. They have to take down Doobie here as he misses another shot. That is going to be doable. And now they have to retrieve the C4 to get the plant in here. Quick converge coming through as well from God's Not Dead. He's be able to shut down the plant on the timing as well. That's round over. It's just Ruben left. Surely there's no world in which he's able to win this clutch, right? You got Leggy on the crosshair with the AWP. Only 20 seconds left as well, and Leggy lands the shot through the door to close out the round as Sinister 5, or rather as Big 5, level out the scoreline.
Oh my goodness. The cat exec came in and they're sort of like they didn't do the avant-garde smoke, which lands on the box, which allows you to have a bit of a one-way towards the site. They rather did the CT drop smoke, which allowed them to have that mid to B smoke. And when that mid to B was threatened, EXE, he mollied the window, and then Doobie, his head was locked on the tunnels, but there was no pinch coming in. No exec is good when you're coming through one avenue of attack, and that's exactly how Sin 5 felt in that round. All of them coming through mid doors. Yes, the trade sort of went their way, but essentially you had one player left in a 1v3 at the end of the round. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Right. That was a fantastic shot. Ninjas, the next points of defense, and he's going to be going down as well. So 3v3 here. Unfortunately, no weapons have actually been retrieved just yet by Sinister 5. And again, I mean, you know, this is always the sentiment that we echo. Winning the round is still going to be very tough for Sinister 5 from this point, but just inflicting some economic damage goes a long way. I mean, there is quite a decent buffer on Big Five right now. You see the likes of Leggy with 8,700, God's Not Dead with about 6k. So they've got players with money in the bank, but this will still just keep them in check. There is enough utility for Sinister 5 to conjure up an exec as well. They're going to be dropping the 2 smokes to try and aid their cause. There we go. Is that the CT smoke and the ledge smoke to try and charge forward? God's Not Dead. Should have been spotted from that flashbang as well. Chappie going to be swinging out with the Tech 9, tapping away, can't find the kill. And it should be a farming festival from here, and that's exactly what it is for God's Not Dead.
Yeah, and I mean, Sin 5 identified the site which was weaker. Obviously, 2 players over towards the B sites. And Sin 5, if they get that kill into God's Not Dead, completely different round. They can retrieve the rifles, and then I think there's an AWP. I think there's probably an AWP and 2 rifles on the floor, and then that's completely different. Then it's Big 5 backs to the wall, 2v3 retake, and it's completely different. But another gun round, that was Nico, remember? There's another gun round coming out from Big 5 and the boys, so now they're going to see if they can put the throat on Sin 5, on the foot on Sin 5's throat, rather, and see if they can put them in the ground. 12-11, 1 round between the 2. Next thing you know, it's Big 5 will find themselves on 15 if Sin 5 don't have some sort of a response.
Absolutely. Big 5 win this 13-11. If they can't find a plant in the round they lose, it's going to be an eco 14-11, and things are looking all of a sudden like it's Big 5's map for the taking. So it's a massive round here for Sinister 5 just to show that they have what it takes to still be competitive here in the half. And this time they're looking to just keep things ultra simple, Nick. 5 players contacting up short, dropping the wall of smokes to try and get into the site, flashing the AWP off the angle. This is the question. How much work can Leggy get done from this position right now? How effective are Sinister 5's flashes going to be? And it looks like Leggy's not even going to hang around to find out. He's already made his way back towards Song. And Big 5 are committing to their retake protocol. Leggy gets the short end of the stick there as he trades with God's Not Dead through the smoke. And now it's going to be the post plant for Sinister 5 as they secure the plants and get all 4 players back into some decent post plant positions, but not the best ones. And Big 5, they've got an amazing platform to work off of right now to retake the safe site, and now they get the job going as they start to propel their way forward. Flash is raining in. Molly going to be going off towards shorts as well. They know that Shia has to be towards Gandalf. The bomb planted wide out in the open. Frozen with the audacious pick. He's going to be going down, and Shia finds a kill before he goes down as well. Ninja single-handedly trying to stand tall in the defense, but Sinister 5 actually done a fantastic job. EXE, he can't stick the defuse. Ruben ends up with the double kill, and it's going to be Sinister 5 who are able to punch their way back into the round.
Yeah, Sinister 5's back seems to be against the wall. Obviously, the opening kill actually went Big 5's way. Lately dropping in towards CT, actually gets spammed through the smoke. So, Sin 5, all things considered, they win out the 4v5, the 4v5 to good effect. A couple players over towards short. Maybe you want to keep another player onto the sides. You can fight to the death. Maybe get a couple extra frags done. But that was one gun round, one from Sinister 5, and just like that, Big 5 rather, they're on an eco. Yes, they've got a couple pieces of money in the bank. They've rather just gone for the deco buy and the scouts on God's Not Dead. And Sin 5, they should be looking at 13 in this, and then they win the next gun round, 14, and the next thing you know, Sin 5 look to be favorites to win this map.
Yeah, I mean, I just love how closely contested this is right now between these two teams, giving it absolutely everything that they've got. I mean, this has got OT written all over it, actually. The eco round being dealt with in kind here by Sinister 5, at least up until this point. And this is where you just need to keep things simple, man. You want to group up. You want to make sure that you've got your numbers all together. You want to always have that trading potential on the table, because you've already got the advantage numerically, and you've also got the weaponry advantage. You don't have to actually do anything extravagant to win the round from that point. You just want to try and brute force your way to the end goal, and it's going to be towards the A site right now. God's Not Dead does get taken down, and should be Sinister 5 going ahead once again.
Yeah, and the main thing from Big 5 standpoint is that no economical damage has been done to Sinister 5 this round. I mean, Frozen, he's going to take out EXE, and Sin 5 are playing these anti-ecos to really good effect. I mean, they're keeping men up. They're not throwing away their lives unnecessarily, so all things considered, Sin 5, they found themselves right back into the game. We were speaking about them possibly falling behind a bit. The gun rounds, they weren't finding much success in them, but just like that, they've posted a couple rounds in a row. They've got the eco built up, so now as soon as they start losing, they've already got 2 rounds of loss bonus if you look at the streak that Big 5 have followed before then. So Sin 5, you still got another buy after this if you lose this round, and just like that, the loss bonus is at max when you lose the next.
Yeah.
So Sin 5, they look really sorted to finish out this game, and now it's in Big 5's hands to try draw this
Yeah.
back.
Oh man, it's just converted 180 degrees back and forth a couple times in this half. I mean, lest we forget, Sinister 5 were ahead 11-6 at one point, and then we saw that run from Big 5 where they won 6 consecutive rounds, went ahead by 1 round at 12-11, and now we've seen Sinister 5 answer back with 2 rounds of their own. Yes, one of them was an anti-eco, but one of them the gun round as well. That post-plant situation that they were able to get across the line and on A, that was the key sort of round right now that's gotten Sinister 5 into this point. So let's see how things are going to be playing out here in this all-important gun round. Big 5 showing some of their hand here towards short. They've got 2 players that smoke on Xbox as well, and Baart there with the back flash is looking to try and get aggressive, but the first frag comes in the way of Ruben all the way from T spawn. He's going to spray down Ninjas. It looks like a set play from Big 5, trying to peek middle, 2 players in mid doors, 2 players up short, but doesn't work out the way they would have hoped. And Sinister 5, they made the perfect read as well, Nick. They've walked out of long. They've got 4 players here. Cross smokes are going to be coming in, and they're just playing with Big 5 at this point. Because they've got the superior amount of util to work with, they know Big 5 are going to have to expend theirs. But Sinister 5, they're committing. Leggy able to get one, but he's going to get overwhelmed by Shia. And Big 5, they're in a spot to bother right now. Sinister 5 start to secure control of A. They've got the plant, and they have Chappie in middle right now. He's going to be shutting EXE down on the rotation. So this is such a tough position Big 5 find themselves in right now. God's Not Dead has no choice but to try and force the fight. He goes down, as does Ninjask. 14-12, easy as you like. Sinister 5 are on the home stretch here on Dust 2, their opponent's map pick.
Yeah, and that was also a really solid round coming out from them. They get the opening frags, they catch the aggression from Big 5, and then they just group the exec side together. The spacing and the trading is good. I mean, there's a world in which if the spacing is bad, then Leggy over on ramp, he doesn't get more than 1 frag, but the spacing was really good. Leggy's only able to get 1 with the AWP, and then Sinister 5's trades were just really effective. And all kudos goes to Sinister 5 and how well they're finishing off this endgame. They playing off the anti-ecos to good effect, keeping men up, keeping the economy building. And I was just about to say they're playing the anti-ecos really well, and now 2 players have just fallen. Now you're scared about B tunnels. Now it's a 3v4, and oh my goodness, what's going on here?
It's too disconnected in my opinion. You don't need to be playing this very stretched out Counter-Strike when you're in your anti-ecos. It's not necessary to secure the map control like that. You don't actually mind if the pistols push around you. As long as you're covering all the angles with the core group that you've got working together, the nucleus around the map, it's actually okay to forfeit some map control in your anti-ecos. And because they're spread so thin, you know, like this is as thin as I like my Bovril spread on my toast, they're getting caught off with no trade potential.
I love my Bovril so thin that it's almost as if it's not on the toast at all, you know?
Yeah.
That's how thin I like my Bovril. Like if my Bovril could be a thickness of 0,
yes.
that's what I'd like my Bovril to be. A thickness of.
Okay. I like it. Big 5 going to be struggling to make this defense happen. The tag through the smoke is going to be softening Sheer on the entry. Doobie's actually been able to find one. He finds a second as well. My god, how do Sinister 5 consistently find themselves in these positions? This time it's Ruben tasked with the 1 versus 2 in the anti-eco. Does he force the issue? Does he try and play the long game? What is his approach here right now? How does he go about taking these fights? He's been heard out as well as he misses his jump. God's Not Dead knows he's somewhere in the site, but Ruben's been able to isolate and finds the first, and EXE doesn't connect on the immediate Desert Eagle headshot. So, 15-12 is the scoreline, and Sinister 5 are going to have 3 map points here on Dust 2 to take Big 5's map away from them.
Yeah, and I mean, we were saying coming into this game, Big 5, if they want to win this series, it's more likely going to have to be in that 2-0 fashion. And Sin 5...
The B punch, Nick? No, never mind.
I mean, I like it if they go to B. Have they gone B once this half? No, I don't think so. They haven't conditioned... They've conditioned Big 5 into being stressed about long and short. Now's the time we need the B hit 1-2, you know? The B pop absolutely. Where you're just going to smoke the doors, good flashes, good spacing on the trades. And if you're Big 5, you're going to have a rough time. But now they're in really good positions to deal with this. So... Now, if you're Sin 5, I think you've missed the timing. Now you've got to push and pull these CTs around the map. You've got to throw mid-B smoke, catch these CTs out or fraud, maybe do like a retake long or something. But I think you've missed the timing on this B pop.
Yeah.
I think they're going to have a rough time if they try to do it now. Especially
you're speaking speak about the fact that they should be trying to take attention elsewhere. The problem is that Chappie's the only player on the opposite side of the map right now, and he only has a molly, so he doesn't really have that much util to try and sell the fake. The one thing Sinister 5 do have going for them is that God's Not Dead's trying to make a bit of a read here. He's shifting himself across the CA side. Now that Exec's going to be coming through, and EXE, he stands very strong and tall in the defense. 2 kills for him, and there hasn't even been a response here for Sinister 5. Now they're going to be committed to this B Exec, but EXE continues to farm them up here in the tunnels, and all 4 of the corpses lay closely clustered on top of each other. And Sinister 5, they dropped the ball there, Nick. They missed the timing. They didn't have util to reconsider alternative options, and Big 5 showing that they still have life left in them yet.
Yeah,
and if they win this, not much money left in the bank.
Yeah, I just think the exec there from Sin 5 just wasn't up to par. I mean, like, they're gonna attempt to be pop, right? But you gotta be wary about a player playing close with his close left or close right. There's no flash to blind that player, so EXE has free reign, even though he sprayed through a smoke, but he's not spraying through a smoke blind, which you can then say is a bit more lenient in that regard. But Sin 5's exec just didn't seem on par, and just like that, they're gonna go back to their bread and butter, which is the short play. Lately's running through a mollo, taking all that damage.
Yeah.
Ruben's dropped CT. He's gonna shoot Ninja's blind, and now there's a player spamming the CT smoke. That is Doobie, but Leggy over towards Long. He's gonna be the next nail in the coffin for Sinister 5.
It's working out so perfectly for Big 5 right now. They've done so much damage before that bomb plant's even come through. Frozen's going to drop his molly, but that's going to be having barely any impact on the outcome of this round right now. Big 5 with everything that they need to make this retake happen. It's going to be on Frozen and Chappie to go absolutely huge if anything can happen, and Frozen already misses his first shot, able to land the second, but he's going to get overwhelmed and take him down by Leggy. 15-14 is the score. We're going the distance. We're going the full 30 rounds here on Dust 2, the first map of this lower bracket semi-final. Loser eliminated in 5th, 6th position. Winner progresses to the top 4. Guaranteed cash in Season 2 as well. And, well, let's see if Sinister 5 are going to win the first map, if we're going to the first set of overtime in a streamed game here in Season 2.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute since we've seen anything of the sort, so Chappie's purchased up the AWP glass cannon. He's going to try to take things into his own hands. The IGL is going to try to attempt to take the round, but the scruff
oh,
the neck,
EXE. That's disgusting.
This man's like, someone check his PC.
Bro.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Check his PC. Bravada gives him the new 240 hertz. I don't care about that.
Right.
It's the PC. The PC itself. He's cheating. I'm saying it. He's playing like an absolute madman. I mean, maybe the scoreline doesn't completely represent him. I was cracking because I mean he's 17, 18.
Yeah.
I won't talk about that, but I mean, still performing, dude. Like what?
Actually a pretty well-rounded performance coming out of Big 5 when you look at the numbers across the board. But Sinister 5 have not looked convincing in these rounds that they've lost the early pick. Lately towards Long has no further util. It's only 2 smokes and 2 flashes left remaining here for Sinister 5. What on earth do they end up doing from this position? God's Not Dead's been spotted out towards shorts. He should have heard the AWP scope in as well, so no need for him to take that fight. The mid to B is actually probably the best option here for Sinister 5, all things considered, but they might be compelled to try something else because they've got Lately in the long doors, and it looks like they are going to be starting to work their way towards short. God's Not Dead going to be the first points of contention. He's able to avoid the flashbang, but now they've charged through the smoke. Yes, they're able to get the trade, but still, there'll be a man down here, and they use their last smoke now. And it looks like Big 5 are already setting up for the retake. Players pushing up through middle, already wrapping around on the flank. Lately's going to be hearing them here. Doobie's loud and proud, charging forward with his knife out. He's going to be gifting his life away. And there's a second player here as well. Ninjask is in the vicinity. You can see Lately has the inclination, but he's not entirely sure of it. And all of a sudden, Nick, this has turned into a very winnable situation for Sinister 5. Everything hinges on this round right now. It all lies in balance. 3 versus 3, 15-14. Sinister 5 looking to close down the regulation. Lately on the angle is going to get taken down. Ninja deals with him. Now it's Frozen and Sheer to try and convert the situation to get Sinister 5 across the line. The time is ticking, but there's kits aplenty. A smoke as well. They're both checking the same angle. That means Leggy's going to be able to find a frag for free. Sheer goes down as well. Big 5 have made the retake happen. They win the round. And they force OT. We're going the distance, Nick. Here we are. 30th round played out, and Big 5 get the job done. You could see the chaos was there for Sinister 5, man.
The one thing I was just wondering is, you don't have util to fake a site. Like, yes, you faked the mid B, right? But that just when I saw that smoke go out, it was super touch and go. Like, Yes, it didn't actually play out into the grand scheme of the round. It was just poor post plants and not being able to play off each other. But imagine you have an extra smoke. Maybe you can drop the smoke over towards short, and then it's completely different, you know? Maybe you're able to smoke long doors, and then when they try to retake long, they have to come through a smoke, and you have the favor for the T's being grey screened for longer. Then it's a completely different scenario. Leggy's going to open up the OT with getting a kill full blind, and things just seem to be going big fives way. Sim 5. They're going to start wrestling this round back.
Yeah. Slate wiped clean, and the game has been reset. All the hard work of the previous 30 rounds have now been completely negated. None of that matters anymore. MR3 10k is the name of the game here in OT. Nick, I know that you're a big proponent of 10k.
I was thinking about it the other day. I would prefer like 12k. The reason why I say that is because okay, they're going to mid B, so I'm just going to hold my breath a little bit because Doobie's going to mollo us that they aren't able to actually get into the site. They've completely shut off the CTs from entering the site. Frozen's going to try entry with the AWP, and it's just not going to go their way. Last person's Ruben in the 1v5 to 1v4. Just like that. Okay, so basically, my thought process is, right, 16k I think is too much because you can effectively buy double up every round, and I don't think that's transparent of what happens in like regulation. Like regulation, you don't have the luxury of necessarily buying a double up every gun round because obviously the
3 rounds in a row after losing. Yeah.
The point of overtime is essentially who's better at gun rounds because that's the tiebreaker that they're working with. I think 10k is a bit rough because then you can't necessarily work with double up even one round because of how I put your money in the dumps. So I think somewhere between the two, where you're able to buy double up and still be able to pull yourself through for the next 2 gun rounds and be able to buy up rifles, I think that's sort of the difference between the two. Because I think 16k is too much. I think 10k is almost there. I think it's a little bit too little. I think you just need something between the two, and then I'll be over the moon. I'll be chuffed.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're onto something there for sure with the 12k. I've heard a few people mention that before as well. It's high time that sort of thing gets reconsidered by CSGO and Valve in general. Finally, we see Sinister 5 with an opening kill. And Nick, it looks like they're just throwing caution to the wind. They finally found the accelerator. Chappie just charging forward into the A site. Is going to catch Doobie completely off guard. And that is the site taken with an iron fist by Sinister 5. And Big 5 are going to have to try and make the retake happen if they're going to be getting across the line in this round.
If you're Sin 5, re-smoke that corner on the site because you need a player to stay on the site so you can negate this long prong take coming in. You've got 2 smokes, use them. Maybe you can throw the short smoke retake, but you've got 3 players over towards short, and as soon as these players fall, then the players on the site can't do anything. The kills are getting traded back and forth, 2v2.
Yeah.
Just like that, Ruben and Lately finish them off, and the crosshairs on the heads of Sinister 5 go their way rather than the opposite way around. Sinister 5 putting the crosshairs on Big 5's heads.
Yeah.
16-16 is the scores on the doors.
We still continue with this back and forth affair, right? Let's not forget, though, that this is Big 5's map pick, and we're going into Mirage next, which, as far as I'm concerned, favors Sinister 5. Not very heavily, but I think they do have the advantage going into that series, or into that map at least. And again, Nick, it's this quick pace coming out Sinister 5. We're seeing a completely different face out of them in these past 2 rounds. And they should be catching these B players completely off guard, right? Doobie, he's going to have to clear this out. EXE is going to be scratching his head, asking Doobie, how on earth did that happen? And well, they're going to have an opportunity to discuss that in dead chat, as both of them have been taken down. And Sinister 5 have secured control of this B bomb site. We know how tough the site can be to retake. And while Big 5 set themselves up, let's open up the giveaway for the shirt. It's one of these sick Evesports EGL 1 Season 2 shirts. The keyword is Yorba. YOBA, caps, no caps doesn't make a difference, only enter once. Chance to win it somewhere throughout the second map of the series. Big 5 charging through the smoke. Into the side they go. Lakey's going to find himself to it. It looks like Sinister 5 will be taking themselves an advantage into the second half of OT. So here we go, 17-16, Sinister 5. They'll be feeling pretty good about that, taking a lead into the second half, and also rectifying a few of their demons on the T side of this map. I mean, we definitely saw a change up in their approach in those last 2 rounds.
Yeah, I think Sinister 5, as you said in the round, they just pushed up shorts. It seems like they found the accelerator. They found the sort of punch 1-2 sort of thing that they didn't find in regulation, and things just went their way. And it seems like that fast sort of style was what they were missing, and it worked really well for them. And now it's the CT side, the side that they were extremely comfortable with in regulation. So now all the pressure's on Big 5, but the youthful usage from Sin 5 was something we're keeping in question, how they use the utility across the map. Now, Big 5, they were grouping up for somewhat of a B play, but now they found that they missed the timing, so they're just going to regroup and try default out, take map control wherever they can. See how this game ebbs and flows. We've seen both teams be favorites. Big 5 getting to match point first. No, what was the opposite?
Sin 5 had map point, 15-12, yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, Big 5 came into the second half being favorites because, I mean, Sin 5, they were up 9-6, and then Big 5 had a really good run of rounds, and then Sin 5 take it to map point, and then Big 5 take it to overtime, and now Sin 5 probably look as favorites. Close out Dust 2.
Yeah, back and forth the whole time. And now the defense is going to have to be mounted towards short. Lately, he's here all by himself. No support at all. He's going to find the timing on the peak, but all he can find is damage onto Ninjas, who's going to continue to commit to the cause. Leggy misses the shots as well. Lately wants to go for the push with the USP, but thinks better of it. In fact, he's able to get out alive. That's the best result for him. Kill, and he's able to keep himself alive going into the rest of the round right now. Chappie elsewhere finds a kill, so this is looking a little bit dire right now for Big 5. They have to commit to the safe side as Frozen, who's been quiet in this map, adds another one to his kill count, and now it's just Doobie left, and he's going to go down to Frozen's AWP as well. 18-16, Nick. Sinister 5 have secured themselves at least another 2 map points here on Dust 2. So, I mean, this is, if they spill 5 map point opportunities, then at that point, you know, there's going to be a bit of a mental block. So, they have to get across the line here in these next 2 rounds. Absolutely have to.
Yeah, I agree with you. They've had so many opportunities to finish this map out, and I think they got to get it done as soon as possible if you're in the Sin 5 camp. Ruben's actually found himself in low. Is this the first time we've seen an aggro play from Sin 5 come out? XC is going to clear it, but Ruben's crosshair placement just seems to be superior. He's got the smoke, but now he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. He's going to get a teammate to help him flash to get out, but he's just going to try run out, and of course you're going to die.
Yeah, not sure
you
what
literally have someone CT.
He needed to...
Oh, no.
He needed to use that smoke towards mid to give himself that cover to get out. Or he just needed to commit to stay in others. I don't think that getting out was actually the option. 4 versus 4. Unfortunately, the hard work in finding that opening pick has been negated as he goes down. So, what do Big 5 do from this position? They're starting to congregate towards the opposite side of the map. Lately has found Ninjask in a bit of an awkward position there as they take a bit of a bout through the doors, but it's going to be Lately who goes down on the cross. So now it falls onto Shia. She has to somehow mount a defense, a solo defense here on the B bomb site. They're charging forward. He's going to find the first, but Leggy gets the trade. So it's the man advantage for Big 5 as they assume control of this B bomb site. Retake will be attempted here by Sinister 5, no doubt. Both Frozen and Chappie are left remaining, and they've got so much money in the bank. And that should be the end of it. I mean, Big 5 keeping themselves in the hunt.
I think if you're Frozen, just get one of these guns. Like, post up for an exit somewhere. You've got enough money. Someone can drop you an AWP next round. If you want to double AWP, you can. Just, you got to do the economical damage now, right? Like, you saving this AWP in the grand scheme of things means nothing. Like, if imagine all 3 of these players, or even 2 of them went down. That means Big 5, they got Galil's Mac 10s next round.
Yeah, absolutely. Not that there would have been a next round.
Yeah.
If Sinister 5 won this.
Yeah, exactly. That would have been a quite a situation.
Okay, 18-17. Big 5 looking to try and force OT number 2.
Attempt
by winning
number
this round.
5.
Yeah, attempt number 5. And then they're going to have to
5.
earn more attempts after that.
Attempt 5.
Sin 5, Big 5, all about the 5s. And Leggy, my god, absolutely destroys his opposite number. So that's a dream start to the round here for Sinister 5. What an opening.
Oh, like, this is... It's 25 seconds into the round. Chappie's got a nade. Lately's got no utility. She has got a flash. Like, yes, they're a player down. But, like, you've got no utility now at a minute 20 seconds left to stop any site hit anywhere. Unless you're Ruben and you walk into B. But that lurk smoke should bait out a possible mollo or a smoke from Ruben on that site.
Again, Big Five now grouping up towards this B-bomb side. They're conditioning Sinister 5 very nicely as well. If they win this round, Sinister 5 are going to be really considering how they mount their defense in the second setup, or the second overtime. Shia tasked with trying to get the job done once again, but he's been completely blinded up by this flurry of flashes that continues to rain in, and he's going to go down to EXE as well. Big Five look like they're getting the job done. Man, it's way too easy for them in the 6th round here at OT number 1. Chappie, the only player left, tasked with the 1 versus 4, but this just seems so unrealistic right now. They know exactly where he is as well. And it looks like Big Five have done it. It looks like somehow, again, by the skin of their teeth, they've been able to keep themselves in the hunt here. And he's going to go down to God's Not Dead. 18-18, Nick. That's 5 map points now that Sinister 5 have not been able to get across the line in. And there has to be a breaking point. There has to be a line at which they can't take any more of this. And, well, Big Five, they're going to be finding out where that line is soon enough.
Yeah, because Sin 5, as soon as they lose that opening pick, they just seem to lose the idea of how to play the round. They need to reaggress somewhere and get some sort of information so that they can stack a bomb site. But as soon as they lose the opening pick, it just seems like it's free reign for Big Five. And that's exactly the opposite of what you want when you're in overtime, where push comes to shove, where every single round, every piece of utility, every kill, every trade is worth its weight in gold. 18-18, 22 is the magic number.
Yeah, 22 is the magic number both of these teams are going to be looking for right now. Ruben and Frozen with the double orb setup. Frozen's been quiet. They need him to start coming alive here. He's the star player for the Sinister 5 team, and he just unfortunately hasn't been performing at the level that they would have been hoping for here on Dust 2. I was talking about what an integral part to Sinister 5 he's going to be here on Dust, considering he's the AWPer and the star player, but just hasn't come to fruition. Lately and Frozen, 2 players towards short with Chappie a part of it. Well, Lately's going to stand tall with the first. He goes down, but Frozen right there to trade out. And the second AWP comes into the players. Ruben finds a kill as well. Sinister 5 going to be saying, why weren't we able to do this in the previous sets of OT? But the job's not done yet. Dawn flows to it though, with Frozen finding his second.
He's got a gap. Oh, and catches leggy jumping. Sin 5. Both the first round of the second overtime on Dust 2. We were chomping at the bit for a close game in this tournament so far. Every single game, yes, we've seen a couple go to like 30 rounds or 25 plus, but we've been waiting for the moments in which we're seeing 2 similar teams go neck and neck, go overtime, go the distance. And Sin 5, they would have finished in 2, all things considered. They're fighting for the opponent's map pick.
Yeah, I mean, they've had multiple opportunities to close this one out, Nick, in regulation and in overtime, and they've scuffed their opportunities. So now they're going to have to get it done in OT number 2. We've seen Lately do crazy work from this position before, but the molly coming over, this is probably what happened last time, Nick. They mollied the car, but Lately's actually able to just nestle himself in the back here. They need to spray a couple shots through the windows to make sure that this position gets cleared out, and that's exactly what Ninjask is looking to do right now, but he hasn't connected, so that's going to be a bit of false sense of security. Lately, again, could try and do some very devilish things from this position and lead to Big Five's undoing. The question is, can anybody take any heat off of him? Can Ruben just try to take some attention away from that position? Because if Ruben can get a kill, that would perfectly allow Lately to activate. He's going to activate himself, pouncing up. He's only going to be good for 1 kill this time round. He got 3 in that position last time. So Big Five, they'll be content with that. Ruben's on the bomb side. He has a tough job to do. He's going to go down after finding 1 as well, but still the numbers favoring Sinister 5 as Chappie gets a kill and keeps himself alive. Now Big Five's focus is going to be shifting to try and find the bomb plant. How do they create the space to find this plant? Because right now they're being converged upon by these Sinister 5 players. Numbers all around the site right now for the CTs, and Big Five, they're just trying to find a gasp of air. They're just trying to find some room to work with. Doobie, he's just going to have to go absolutely nuclear. It's going to have to be the ace clutch out of him if they are going to be winning this round, and that's going to be such a tough ask from him. He's spotted Chappie out, and Sheer right there, willing and able to trade Chappie out if he does go down. You need to make sure he stays in close proximity, though. We saw something very similar last weekend. In fact, Doobie, he's going to be able to find the plant here. Sheer just needs to land 1 bullet, but we all know what the AK is capable of doing. Doobie hasn't connected. He's just going to buy time and find the angle, but Sheer will connect on the shot to secure the round, and it's going to be 20-18, but not without some damn close Doobie heroics.
Oh, it's exactly it's contrasting figures in the Sin 5 side. That round was a team ace from Sin 5, and for Big 5, Doobie got all 4 kills. I'm not saying that's been the
Yeah.
complexion of the whole map because it's been the exact opposite. It's been extremely balanced throughout all 10 players in the server. Every single player's pulling their weight. Every single player's chiming in and having their impact in their own way, shape, or form. And that round came down super close, and it just so happened that Sin 5 got that round on the board, and now if they can get 21, then it's Big 5. That's a big difference to come back over.
Massive.
Especially
Yeah, I mean,
in overtime.
winning the first 3 rounds in a half of OT, game changer.
Yeah.
Absolute game changer. So much pressure put on the opposition. Doesn't matter what map, what half it is. If you win all 3 rounds, you're in such a strong position. And Sinister 5 with an opportunity to do that right here, right now. And Frozen's been able to open things up with the AVP. And again, that's a 3rd consecutive round now in which Sinister 5 has found the opening pick. And again, it sort of has been the run of play of whoever's found the opening pick, whoever's had that luxury, has gone on to win the round.
Yeah, and it's extremely heavy mid play coming out from Sinister 5. A smoke and response for Sheer. It's going to come out, and it's going to be just a meat grinder in the middle. And just like that, it's Leggy with a Mac 10. Trying to clutch out this round. And Chappie, he's just going to rush him down, which means Sin 5, they get 3 more attempts at match point. All 3 CT rounds are going to be posted by them. And now, Big 5 camp, you gotta make sure your CT side is solid. You gotta make sure all your I's are dotted, your T's are crossed. Make sure your setups are good, your flashes are good, the timing on the peaks are good, your map control is good, the push and pull is good. You're going to make sure you're going to take your pick of Dust 2 to a triple overtime.
Oh, man. Tough ask here for Big 5 to fight their way back on the CT side, to have to pick up all 3 rounds just to force OT number 3, Nick. I mean, so it's like, it's not even like if you pull off the crazy streak of winning all 3 rounds that you win the map. It's like, no, you just need to do that to stay alive. Another 3 map points for Sinister 5. That's a total of 8 map points they would have had if they use up all 3. But they're going to be hoping to close it out right here, right now in their 6th map point. And it looks like they're going to try and get the job done with the B split. The B split, we saw they looked the best when they were looking to be aggressive, and that's the case right here. Doobie going to flash. Ninja's key gets caught off. He pushes through the smoke. EXE pushes through the smoke of his own, and Doobie also able to get a kill. Sheer, though, with the really important frags. He takes down EXE towards tunnels. That was the difference maker kill right there. Frozen needs to get out alive as well. Needs to join his teammates in the bomb sites and preserve his life, and that's exactly what he's going to be able to do. Big 5 have to make this retake happen in the 2 versus 3 situation. They got 3 flashes and a smoke as well to work with. God's Not Dead and Leggy, 2 of the heaviest hitters here for Big 5 in the server throughout Dust 2 are the 2 players that are left alive. Flash over the top to God's Not Dead, but he's going to go down. However, there's a TK, means Leggy might have an in, but it's not going to be the case. He goes down to Chappie, and Sinister 5 have finally gotten across the line here on Dust 2 as they win it out 20-18. They win the first 4 rounds of OT number 2, and they secure their opponent's map pick in the back. We'll be heading to Mirage next, which is their map, but Nick, finally Sinister 5 get the job done.
I mean, finally, right? I mean, they had so many attempts at the map point, and it seemed like it was almost lost. They had 5 attempts in which they weren't able to convert, and then as soon as they had the 6th one, they chomped it up, and they were able to get 4 rounds in the second overtime, which means Sin 5 take Big 5's map pick. And we were saying Big 5, if they want to have a say in the series, it would have to be a 2-0 victory. I don't see them taking Train. It's a more technical map. Playing with a standard, you're going to have a rough time. It's Mirage next, and Sin 5, they made it a home pick. And they look like it's going to be their favorites to win out the series.
Yeah, I mean, going into Mirage, they definitely will be the favorites, and we're going to be finding out soon enough whether that's going to end up being the truth or not. We are going to be taking a short break before that, however, so make sure you don't go too far, about 5 minutes or so before we return. Remember, we do have a giveaway open at the moment for one of these sick Evesports EGL 1 Season 2 shirts. The keyword for that is Yorba. We'll be announcing the winner of that somewhere throughout the second map. So, guys, we're going to be taking a breather. We'll turn in a few minutes. We'll have Mirage. Our Sinister 5 going to be sending Big 5 packing in 2. Our Big 5 going to be fighting their way through to Train. We'll find out soon enough. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to this lower bracket semi-final game between Sinister 5 and Big 5. We just came off the back of Dust 2, where Sinister 5 finally got across the line. It only took them 2 sets of overtime, Nick, and then they eventually won that game 20-18, but they could have done it a lot sooner. However, the point still stands. They're up 1-0 in the series. We're going to Mirage now, which is Sinister 5's pick as well. Big 5 are playing with the stand-in EXE for Mochmat. Are they going to be able to fight their way through this, Nick, and keep themselves alive in EGL 1 Season 2? Or are they going to be going picking here after Mirage?
I mean, that's the question on everyone's lips, right? Obviously, winner of this game not only stays alive in the tournament, but also gets their hand on the big green, which everyone loves that. Everyone loves a bit of a prize
and
money.
He's not talking about the AWP, guys, just by the way.
To be fair, I would
clarify.
To see 5 AWPs amongst the server. That would be pretty nice, but it's always nice to walk away from a tournament when you get a bit of prize money to sort of reward yourself for the hard work you put in. And no doubt these two teams would have had to work hard to get to the position they're at. And since the 5, as you said, they've taken Big 5's map pick, which they did have to work really hard for. They got to the map point first. They expended 2 of those, then went into overtime, got to 18 rounds first, expended a couple of those even, and then next thing you know, 21 came around and they were able to convert the 22nd. So
that's it.
Since the 5, they had a really good showing towards the end of Dust 2, but I think Mirage, obviously, completely different map, different play style, different way to push and pull the CTs around. Obviously, going to be constructed around that mid control and how good your set pieces are. You think about your B set piece, your A set piece. That has to be on par. You know, the pathing has to be good, the flashes have to be good, the spacing has to be good. And then if you're Sinister 5, if you've been working on that, which is a map that they've been making their home pick, which is Mirage, they've been playing against high-level teams. They beat WRG 16-14. They did, however, get a bit of a hiding to DNMK. So that's all of the things that are going to be going through everyone's head. But Mirage is a completely different beast to Dust 2.
Yeah, it certainly is. I expect Sinister 5 to be well-oiled, especially those things that you were touching on already. I know that Frozen is an absolute beast on this map as well. But as we've spoken about, what do Big 5 have to lose? As we heard from God's Not Dead in his interview when they played against Akasi, he said that they didn't take things too seriously and they were having quite a lot of fun in their games. And so probably going to be seeing something similar here going into Mirage as well, looking to keep things lighthearted. The one thing I will say is Sinister 5 must be feeling a hell of a lot better about things right now than what they would have if they lost that game in overtime. So their spirits are still going to be up coming into Mirage right now, and they're going to be hoping to close this out in 2 maps, and we're about to be kicking things off here on Mirage. That's going to be Big 5 with the choice of sides, and no doubt they'll be choosing the CT side.
Yeah, definitely. I think Mirage is definitely one of those maps which is pretty much as 50-50 as they come nowadays. Pretty much just comes down to whatever style of CSGO your own team suits it to. Some teams just naturally are strong on the T side. Some teams are exactly the opposite. They're just strong on their CT sides. So Big 5, starting on the CT side, are their lockdowns going to be good? Are their aggressions going to be good? How is Sin 5 going to push and pull around the map? Is it going to be centered around mid control? Or is it just going to be straight up set pieces across the map? There's B rushes, obviously, which people sometimes fall prone to on anti-ecos. All that stuff is going to be going through Big 5's mind right now, as well as Sin 5's mind. And I think, in all honesty, as you said, Sin 5 are probably coming into this map as favorites, right? I think they're pretty comfortable on Mirage. I don't think the same can be said about Big 5. At Big 5, you've just lost your map pick in the double OT, so Sin 5, they're going to be looking to close it out in 2.
Yeah, they certainly are going to be hoping to close it out in 2. I think it'll be a great victory for them as well if they can beat this Big 5 team 2-0 in such an important game as well here in the lower bracket semi-final, and then book themselves a spot against the winner of DNMK versus WRG, which is what we're going to be seeing on Thursday. Just by the way, for everyone who's here right now, Thursday, 7:30 on this very channel, we're going to have DNMK versus WRG, absolutely straight fire game. Remember, we also have a giveaway open at the moment for one of these sick EGL 1 Season 2 shirts. The keyword for that is Yorba. If you've entered already, don't enter. Regain, we'll be announcing the winner of that somewhere throughout this map. Let's find out what's going to be going on. Big 5 on the CT side, they've got the kit and the smoke on Ninja's armor across the board outside of him. On the side of Sinister 5, it's 4 flashes, Nick, and it doesn't look like those flashes are going to be kept in the pockets for very long. Already raining over the top into the speed bomb site. They've forced Big 5 back. EXE going to be playing for the retake, and normally you don't actually look to take those sorts of fights when you commit to the retake because you want to make sure you focus on preserving your life. He goes down, and it means Sinister 5 have a one-man advantage in this post plant, and look at the positions they've gotten into. I missed the fact that they'd even bought 2 smokes. The McDonald's smokes had already gone off. They've now dissipated, and Big 5 are not going to get themselves into the bomb site, but it's going all Sinister 5's way right now. In fact, they're only going to lose 1 player in the post plant. Sinister 5 come out swinging here on Mirage.
Yeah, I mean, 4 players stay alive, and God's Not Dead is the only player to chime in for a kill in the kills column on the side of Big 5. So as good a start as you could like if you're from Sinister 5. You've purchased up 4 rifles. Yes, definitely 4 rifles on the board, as well as
Yes.
a Mac
No,
10
of course.
for Frozen. So
Yeah,
if you're
4
Sinister
rifles
5,
and 1 SMG.
exactly, yeah, definitely, without a doubt. They're just going to fake this B rush again and see if Frozen can somehow find a stack. Maybe get a couple frags as well.
Yeah, I really like this though.
He hasn't committed, so the rotate's not getting bought. Big 5 know this is a fake, pretty much off the rip.
Yeah, I don't mind that though from Sinister 5, but now they have to commit to the A site. Like they have to go right now. Can't waste any time from here on out, and you can see they are going to be committing. Lately coming out of Palace is going to be one of the key players to try and deal with that scout in CT. Chappie and Ruben are the marauders who make their way forward and find the necessary kills to secure the plant, although plant not done just yet. As long as God's alive, God's Not Dead is alive. That's a cool one to say. As long as he's alive, as long as God's not dead, exactly. So you know, because he's alive. With the scouts, anything is possible. He's actually been one of the impressive players with the scouts in the past couple of months. Definitely one of the weapons he enjoys to use. And Big 5 are gonna have a crack at this. I mean, this is a force buy. Why wouldn't they? No kit, no util. Still damage coming through with that scout, and they're down to the 2v2 here. So this isn't a bad result for Big 5, but it's not going to be ending up with them winning the round.
Yeah, 4 frags coming out from Chappie. He purchased up the AK into this round, and he made really, really good use of it. Able to get 4 now. He delivers himself 5-0 so far in this game. Sheer hasn't seen anyone. He just hasn't shot a bullet. He hasn't seen anyone. He's just been vibing. He's 0-0-0. And now it's a full eco coming out from Big 5. And if you're Sin 5, just make this one as clean as possible. And see if you can start building up that economy, which everyone knows and loves.
Oh, Chappie trading out the UMP for the AK. Being the team's EGL, you know. Even though it's 5-0. It's like, nah. You have the AK.
Gonna go eco farming.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually the true reason he trades out the AK is like, I just want the freedom to get a bit more aggressive. And I'm the IGL, so no one can really tell me different, right?
Yeah, true.
I did like what Sinister 5 did in the previous round, and I guess I can elaborate on it a little bit more now because we're going to have another anti-eco round. And we very often just see teams sort of commit to some sort of an execute from the get-go in their anti-eco rounds, because they just want to try and overwhelm their opposition. And what often ends up happening is that they execute into a stack. So what Sinister 5 do is they just end up sacrificing Frozen for information. They just send him into that B bomb site, and the fact that he's got 3 players there, he knows for a fact that there's either a stack on B or there's at least 2 players, which means that A site, you know, it isn't going to be very well defended. So even though he ends up dying without even finding a single kill, that information is worth its weight in gold. Sinister 5 can push him onto that A site. They nearly took too long there to get that exit going, in my opinion, but they were still able to make it work and get the job done based off that information. So don't be afraid to lose a player to get that info in your anti-eco rounds is the key point of my bullet point presentation. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Sinister 5 grab 3-0.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the best part about it is they weren't sending in an AK, they weren't sending in a gun in which can do massive damage on the retake. It was just the Mac 10s. All things considered, if you lose a Mac 10, yes, it's an SMG. Sometimes you kill a guy with head armor, but the majority of the time you're only going to tag him or dink him like 40 damage. So they send in the guy with the least amount of real estate, and then they get the most amount of info from it, which is exactly what you alluded to. Now it's the first gun round, which is a bit different. I mean, since the 5, it is a bit of a bonus round, all things considered lately, and Chappie are still on a couple of Mac 10s. I mean, the same can be said about Chappie. I mean, he's got a full-blown rifle in his back. So, Big 5, they got a couple pieces of utility that they can work with and see if they can stop Sin 5 having some sort of a say on the T side of Mirage.
Yeah, I mean, Sinister 5 can really start to run away with this half if they win this round, right? And they're going to go back to the bread and butter A exec. I love this decision. I'm a big fan of the A exec. I think it's just it's a really good way to keep things simple yet effective. I like the fact that they don't commit to the A exec from the beginning of the round as well. They still show some presence towards top mid, and now we're going to be seeing them lining up their smokes connector, or actually probably just the standard stairs, jungle, and CT. And that's what we've got, keeping things nice and simple as Sinister start making the way forward. God's Not Dead's been isolated on the site. They've also heard Leggy's AWP in CT, so that's going to be some key information. And not only have they heard it, they've also felt it as well. And Chappie putting this rifle to fantastic use as he finds a kill onto the AWPer. That's going to be a 3v3 as the bomb plant goes down. Lately has no choice but to try and force the issue towards CT. He has to take this fight with Doobie. If he wins this, it's probably the round one. If he goes down, we take very much alive here for Big Five, and it's going to be the latter as Doobie wins out that gunfight, and now they start to make their way forward. Smoke, in fact, no, the molly towards Firebox, flash over the top. There's no kit here, so Big Five are against the clock right now. She is going to find a kill, but he has to do a lot more than that. He finds a second as well. Doobie gets the kill, and there's just enough time for him to find the defuse as well. Perfectly played there in the end. The trades come through. I thought that Doobie was a dead man walking. I saw his HP, but Shia just couldn't connect, and it's a quad kill for Doobie for Big Fives to find their first round.
Yeah, and super to the wire from Sinister 5 and Big Five's point of view. I mean, Big Five, they only have one player staying alive. Obviously, the same can't be said about Sin 5 because they lost the round, but look at the repercussions of that. Big Five, only one player staying alive, saving the AWP. Then Doobie's able to purchase up his own M4 because of not only the kill bonus, but he's still got armor that he doesn't have to purchase. And Sin 5, they've got full AKs to work with this round. And Big Five, they're going to be a bit strapped from the gun department. They prioritized utility, which is something I'm always a fan of, prioritizing the utility rather than the weaponry itself. But Chappie, he's going to take one of the noticeable weapons out of Big Five hands early in this round.
Yeah, Doobie appeared above that smoke. It appeared on GoTV that he had seen the players, but he didn't react, and then he got taken down. EXE going to be one of the next points of contention here towards Short. He's got the, towards Cat rather, he's got the MP9 up close. Nick, you need to have a talking to your boys here. 2 MP9s instead of the rifles they could have picked up. This is questionable decision making.
I mean, one of them is not on my team, so...
Okay, fair.
The one's my EGL, which is a bit of a problem.
He bleeds blue.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't say much to him. Alright, fair enough. You're painted into a bit of a corner there. The one thing Big Five have been painted into is a stack of the team offside, and they're perfectly positioned to deal with this hit that's going to be coming through here from Sinister 5. The problem is that it looks like the frags are completely going the way off Sinister 5. Leggy with the AWP's not even going to be able to get in on the equation, and Lately on the lurk is going to shut down the rotation. So it's 4-1. Sinister 5 getting straight back to winning ways, and Nick, as you touched on at the start of the round, it was a perfect opportunity because Big Five just had such lackluster weaponry to work with going into that round.
I mean, Sin 5 look polished. They look really good on this T side. They look comfortable. The first essentially gun round was the last round where everyone had exactly what they wanted, or the round previous. And the rounds have been super close. I mean, the gun rounds that went to the wire for Doobie to win that round, but otherwise, Sin 5, they've taken things relatively comfortably. Last round, how many players stayed alive? 4? Maybe 3, 4 players stayed alive in a full gun round.
Yeah.
And Big Five, they've been put into the ground, and Sin 5, they're going to make the next anti-eco as clean as possible. It's something we spoke about on Dust 2, making the anti-ecos as clean as possible so you can start building up that economy. I mean, they're starting to look good. Chappie on 12k, Ruben on 9k, Lately and Sheer starting to look good. Frozen's already got that all purchased up and still got 4k in the bank. So Sin 5, they've got a really good start to the T side of Mirage.
Yeah, absolutely. And they can take that good start to a great start by winning this round, Nick. And really starting to mount the pressure on Big Five. What sort of a strat are they going to be putting out in this round? It looks like it's just presence shown towards middle for the time being. This is a very Chappie-esque T side being called right now, and I know it's like, well, obviously, I mean, he's calling his the EGL, but sometimes, you know, you try and change things up, but this has been a very Chappie-esque T side coming out of them here on Mirage so far. Keeping things stupid simple, but changing it up just to not be predictable rather. And now they're going to be executing into this B-bomb side. 4 players just going to be charging their way forward. There's 2 players here to mount the defense for Big Five. Shia has flashed himself up, so he's not actually going to be able to assist his teammates with the sides as of yet. And both of the initial kills going the way of Sinister of Big Five. EXE adds a third, and that's the round over before it even began practically. It's just Frozen along with his teammate to try and get something done, and surely there's no way that Frozen can. Noticing with the Tech 9, he's only going to find the 1 kill, but that's going to be it for Sinister 5 in the round, and Big Five, they draw their second.
Yeah, that just comes down to the opening duels just going Big Five's way. They try to attempt to fight from middle. They cleared that position out. Yes, there was a smoke expended towards the top boxes, but otherwise, when the B exec came in, Big Five, they just held strong in the crossfires, and things just went their way. They doubled their round tally, But Sin 5, they still got enough money in the bank for a couple more buys, so
Yeah.
Big 5, the job's not done just yet.
Oh,
missed off shot from Leggy. No.
Yeah, but was Frozen fully blinded there or half blinded? I mean, he hits the perfect shot to open things up. This Frozen versus Leggy battle has definitely been providing the entertainment, and they've been going head to head. They've been locking horns quite a lot throughout Dust 2 and here as well. And it's the perfect round coming out of Sinister 5 to answer back after Big 5 won the previous round. And there's not much money left in the bank here for Big 5. Next, to lose this round, they're not going to be able to afford up to buy in the next. God's Not Dead is actually the key in the round right now. He can still get something done, but he's been spotted out before he finds the kill. And in fact, he's not even going to find the kill. Ninjas can EXE left. They have to try and save these weapons, man. They have to take these into the next round. Looks like they're still deciding to hang around here. I mean, fairly low HP on a couple players. Of course, they won't know the exact numbers, but still just seems too far out of reach right now. These weapons are valuable.
Yeah, I agree.
Check Chappie, though. He's already setting himself up here to stop them from being able to save.
That's one thing I respect about Chappie is his mechanic. He's not necessarily the type of player who's gonna run mid and one tap the guy window sort of thing. However, I think to account for his mechanics, he gets himself into really good and favorable positions in which he can shoot people in the back of the head or shoot people when they're least expecting him. And that's something I respect from him big time. Is even though, as I said, he's not going to be the player who's just going to one tap everyone. He's got his wits about him. He's getting in those touch and go situations. He's always pushing the issue. Sometimes you might see him die a bit unnecessarily, but he's doing that for a reason. He's trying to get info. He's trying to get behind this the T defense on some CT rounds, and the same can be said about T. Is sometimes trying to get in and behind. And this round, he's going to have Doobie's number towards lowers. A round that happened in a fight that happened in the previous, and Sin 5, 4 rounds to the good, and an anti-eco to fight up against, in which they already found themselves a man up.
Just to add my 2 cents to your conversation about Chappie, he kind of reminds me of like a player like Crystal. And what someone like Crystal would bring to a team in like the role of the EGL, what he can contribute in that regard, and then the way that he uses himself to set his team up, constantly thinking about the bigger picture and how what he can do to aid his team the most. I mean, he's 13-2 right now, 14-2 right now, excuse me. Added another one to his tally. But what's always important is winning games, winning maps, getting across the line in your series. Not about your individual performance. If you're winning your games, your individual numbers don't matter. And Chappie's one of the players who's fully aware of that mentality and that ideology in Counter-Strike.
Yeah, and Sin 5 in this round, pretty much just going to group up. They got the opening pick, and they're just going to group up for a solid A exec. Catch God's Not Dead trying to peek over towards the CT box, and they're going to post their 7th on the board. A 5-round buffer between themselves and Big 5 into the T side of Mirage, which, yes, it's extremely 50-50 and things like this, but I think if you're Big 5, you're going to look to post as many rounds on the CT side as possible, considering you're playing with a standard, and you may feel the effect that may have on the T side. When you feel like someone's a bit out of place, you feel like that spacing isn't good, that obviously you're not able to dry run with your standard. That's not something you do. You can't just borrow him from Bravado for a couple practice sessions. Be like, we just gotta practice for this tournament coming up. Don't mind us. We're gonna completely negate the practice you want to do. We're just gonna practice with your player. That's not something you do. So
yeah, I don't think that would have probably wouldn't have gone down too well with Timmy. Big round here for Big 5 to try and stop Sinister 5 from running away with this half. 7-2. And so much money in the bank. 11,500 on Chappie, 8,800 on Frozen, 9,300 on Lately. Absolute ballers right now on the Sinister 5 side. And it's going to be more aggression as they start charging the way up short. Lately finds the first. Leggy with another uncharacteristic miss there, but he's not going to be missing a second time. However, Ruben is still able to hunt him down, and Shia, he's completely blown the door wide open on this B bomb site. Aggression is the name of the game here from Sinister 5, and again, this is just such a Chappie call to make. When they're ahead 7-2 going into this all-important gun round, they know that they can absolutely snuff Big 5 out if this aggressive play comes out and works out. And that's exactly what's ended up transpiring here. Big 5 with the pocket rocket strategy or rather Sinister 5 with the pocket rocket strategy, have blown Big 5 out of the water in this round, 8-2. And not only that, but Big 5 aren't showing much promise here on the CT side, Nick. Looks like they're starting to fall to the wayside.
Yeah, and I do think the biggest kick in the teeth on Big 5's point of view is this was the round they purchased up double AWP, right? They were ready. They were ready for some sort of a play to come out for Sinister 5. Maybe they were expecting a default coming out from them. But then Sinister 5, they just went for the B split 1-2, you know, blatantly throwing over that util set towards Con, which was the Mollo, and then the smoke to extinguish the Mollo, which acted as a Mollo, as a smoke to smoke up Con, so that the Con player couldn't get vision over towards Cat, and then flashes, which allowed for the split to come in. And then just like that, since the 5 posted a really good round, and this round they're going to do another fake. They're going to send one player out towards A. The fast smokes are thrown out over towards the A bomb site, similar to what they were doing on B. But they're just going to try to get info, send someone out and see.
Oh, Frozen.
They can get things done.
Oh, God. I mean, he's a youngster, but he's got pretty big balls. I'll just say that much. The way that he took that fight with God's Not Dead in the anti-eco round, just that's all I needed to see.
Five are looking really good, I'll be honest. Like, they're, all things considered, like, even though this is an eco round, it's probably the worst time to bring up something about a team playing well, because you want to say, oh, the massive important gun round, it's 14-15, your team needs to rest, look back to overtime, you say, oh yeah, they're playing sick. But in all honesty, like, Sin 5, their T-side's looking polished, the gun rounds are looking good, the defaults are looking good, they're taking map control, the anti-ecos are clean. Sin 5 are looking prim and proper, and they're looking really good on the and really strong on this T side. We can see now why they're picking this map. Previously I was saying, oh yeah, no, Mirage, maybe it's going to be a bit rough. You know, the other team's playing with a stand-in. It's a bit of a puggy map in some regards, so maybe it could have been a way in which they could have struggled. But it's the exact opposite.
That's doity, young man. Just continues to add insult to injury. Tubi's going to get smashed through the smoke. He's able to find one, but Frozen up close with the no-scope is going to be trading him out. The young gun Orpa is really starting to find his footing now. I mean, he had a quiet Dust too. And on Mirage, well, he hasn't had to do that much, right? But right now, in the past few rounds, he's certainly starting to stand tall. And it's 9-2 here on Mirage. Sinister 5's map pick. Remember, they won up in the series as well after winning Dust 2, 22-18. Only took 2 sets of overtime and 6 map points for them to finally get across the line, but they eventually did. And now this round rests in God's Not Dead's hands. He's got 2 teammates, but they're on the polar opposite of the map right now. He's got so much work to try and do from this position. You can see Sinister 5, they just completely put the brakes on things. Now the smokes are going to be starting to rain in. They show their hand, they reveal their intent. God's Not Dead can't connect on the first shot, and now he's been forced out by the util. Surely there's no way that Sinister 5 lose the round from here. I mean, it doesn't even look like Big 5 are starting the rotations. Nice shot there from God's Not Dead. My God, he just adds a second to his tally as nonchalant, if you like. How on earth does he hit that flick shot onto Shearer as well? God's Not Dead. I was saying that this round's looking highly unlikely for Big 5, but all of a sudden he's turned this into a very winnable prospect. Frozen along with Sheer left here in this 2 versus 3. Frozen on the angle with the AWP is going to have to find a quick kill here to try and alleviate some of this pressure, but not to be the case. There's a smoke, there's flashes, there's kits, there's everything Big 5 need right now. Frozen with the flash over the top to try and give Sheer the opportunity, but it's not going to work out. And now it's on the young gun AWP. He's going to go down to God's Not Dead as well. What a massive round that was from God's Not Dead.
Yeah, I was just about to say, maybe the miss of the first would have been like the nail in Big 5's coffin in that round, because he missed the initial shot of the player coming out ramp holding a Mollo in hand. But then he just re-peaks on top of tickets, and that should, in all honesty, be something Sinister 5 are punishing, you know? Him being able to re-peak on top of the ticket box, even though it's a one-way, he should be spammed, he should be flashed off, stuff like that. But Sin 5, at least it's not going to be a mistake they're going to be making in the next coming rounds. I mean, in all honesty, they've been looking really good up until this point. This last round was a bit of a touch and go one. That was like, what, a 5v3, maybe a 4v3 in that round? Just going Big 5's way, and maybe that's the breath of life that Big 5 need to come back into this map.
Maybe, just maybe it is. Guys, remember we've got a giveaway open for one of these EGL 1 Season 2 shirts open at the moment. Keyword is Yorba. And Big 5, they finally get an opening pick in the round, but elsewhere, Chappie's been able to trade it out, but he doesn't expect Ninjas to be in such close proximity. At least he was able to get his smoke off before he goes down, and God's Not Dead separates the 2 teams with his pick towards ramp. So the 4 versus 2 ensues. Big Five clawing their way back into this half, Nick. If they could make this a 9-6 half, they'll be feeling worlds better about this first half performance than what they otherwise would have been feeling. And they're going to have to go up against the gun rounds across the board if they are going to be achieving that feat, because there's still so much money left in the bank here for Sinister 5.
Yeah, and I mean, in this round, it should be going Big Five's way. They found themselves 2 men to the good. They've got a really good bunch of info towards the A site. Ruben's actually taking it from Ninja's head, so this allows for the B pinch to come in, but a really solid setup coming out from Big Five, which means EXE. Oh, a whiffed spray. That could allow some 5 into the round.
Yeah, okay, no, but now that Leggy finds that all-important kill onto Sheer, things look very unlikely once again. Big picks coming out of Leggy in these past few rounds. He found the opening pick in this round as well. The AWP is starting to come alive. In fact, Nick, he was only on 2 kills before that round. Now he's up to 5. So that's certainly going to be making him feel a lot better about his own individual performance. And I don't think it's any coincidence that Big Five starting to look a little bit more comfortable once their AWP has come to the party. 4-9 here. Big Five not out of the woods just yet.
Yeah, not at all. I'm just going to be doing a 3-1-1 this round, the default everyone knows and loves. 3 players over towards the A side, with 1 player holding for the mid aggro and 1 player showing presence towards B. As early smokes over A, we're thrown out to bait some sort of utility from the Big Five side. They're going to push the ramp through.
Chappie completely blinded up, and Ruben doesn't have the angle to assist his fallen comrade. Big Five have shown that they enjoy making that flash play in towards ramp. And there hasn't been any response from Sinister 5 in this round, so they're going to have to try and make things work with the numerical disadvantage. Big Five still committing with 3 players on the safe bomb site right now as well, by the way, so they are vested greatly in the defense on this side of the map.
Stacks worked out well. It's going to be the A exec coming out. Lately in towards the Palace. He's actually going to spam Doobie through the floorboards, which means there's 2 players going to hold down, and they're going to spam the smoke over towards CT. They've known Leggy's fired off a shot, and the 2 players in the site have been put in coffins. And just like that, it's a 3v4 retake from Big Five, and they don't want to submit double digits to Sin 5 this round.
Yeah, awesome discipline coming out of Lately in that round, man. Seriously awesome stuff. After he gets that pick on the player through the plywood underneath Palace, he knows that the A players are going to be watching him and waiting for him to come through, so he just continues to spam the jungle smoke, covering his teammates. And it's just EXE left now. Big clutch for the young man to try and get his team across the line in this round, making his way forward. He's going to get double peaked. Well played there by Sheer and Ruben, but Lately for me is the key in that round, as he takes down Doobie underneath Palace, and then he doesn't get traded out because he knows he just has to stay alive, and he just keeps himself tucked in the corner and allows his teammates to get the rest of the work done.
Yeah, and even though Big Five were able to get a couple rounds in a row, the eco is still just on the balance. God's Not Dead's actually got the AWP up in this round. He's going to be leaning over towards middle, but there's a Deagle on Leggy and MP9 on Ninjask.
I don't think he
may have
cat jump.
No, he must have cat jump. Doing FKZ nowadays.
You see, that's the thing, is every time you miss the cat jump, you can just say that you were going for the connector peak, right?
Yeah, so. Without a doubt. It's all the
no one can.
excuse everyone gives.
4-10. I mean, 10-5. Oh, jeez, Frozen finding Doobie. 10-5. Not too bad for Big Five, all things considered. 11-4. Going to be a tough position for them to work back into this game from there. And they lost one of their riflers as well, by the way. So it's an MP9, AWP, M4, and Desert Eagle for them to try and contest the rest of this round with. Everything saying that Sinister 5 are going to be getting across the line and making this 11-4. Great flashbang to completely blind up God's Not Dead. He can't have any further impact on the round right now. EXE though towards Cat. Can't find the spray transfer. He's been traded out. Ninjask is only good for 1. And that should be the shop closed to half completed. And Sinister 5 finding an 11. Calling it already, bruv. There's no ways. God's Not Dead and Leggy are just... They're not going to win this. It's as simple as that. It's done. I can see the future.
I respect that. I respect that. I was about to say this flank coming out from Leggy could be coming in, but he's just fired off a couple of shots and not able to get a frag. But I say that he's taken out Cheer, but there's no kits. There's no kits.
There we go.
And there's no heads on either of the 2 players. So just like that, 11-4, the score's in the doors. And Sin 5, as I've said multiple times, their T side is polished. Their T side really good, but now it's the opposite. It's their CT side which is going to be under question.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be the main points of conversation now. Sinister 5, who looked so good on their T side, which is generally kind of considered the slightly less favored side on this map. They now shift into the CT side, where they are 5 rounds away from closing out the series 2-0. Big 5, on the other hand, well, they need to fight their way back into this game through the T side. They've got the smoke and 2 flashes on Ninjusk, and they've spread themselves out. 2 players going to be showing some presence in towards apps. God's Not Dead securing lowers, which is probably going to be the point of rotation. And then they probably end up going back towards the A site or splitting on the A site through middle. So that's what I'm expecting to play out in this half right now, the way that they're positioned. You're going to be seeing Frozen dropping down. Super ballsy from him. He's actually lucky to get away with his life there. Get some information as well, though.
Yeah, and he's just showing so much presence towards middle. Big 5, they sort of have to respect it. They can't really go about their ways differently. They've just taken this pistol around super slow.
Yeah.
And Ninjask, he's going to be smoking top corner and a possible... What is the region? Are they going to go B? They're going to go A? I don't even know if they know. Got 2 players in middle with the bomb, 2 players apps. So it looks like Ninjask is just faking this A site, and they're just going to try come up mid and split this B bomb site. Bomb is going up cat, and there's going to be someone to greet them. That is Frozen, and he's fallen.
Yeah. Now it falls on Nathan on the defense on the P bomb site, USP in hand. He's going to receive the same treatments as Frozen. This is looking great from Sinister, or rather from Big 5. Ruben and Shia, the main points to try and draw this one back, but it's not going to be happening. Chappie goes down as well, and Big 5 keep themselves in the hunch after winning that pistol round. That was certainly the first objective they had to achieve coming into the second half, to try and make this comeback a reality. And that was a clean one from them as well. There was no panic in that pistol round. The plan was concise. Everybody knew what was required of them. And it worked out very nicely. We're going to be seeing the force bind response from Sinister 5, however.
Yeah, and there's effectively 4 rifles on the server. 4 AKs, that is, because the 2 Galils against the unhead armored opponents, all of those bar Chappie.
Yeah.
These Galils will be extra potent, but Chappie, he's going to take out Doobie, so
yeah,
early kill is going to take away that Mac 10.
It's like one of those sprays where you're just like, I'm going to kill this guy, right? I'm about to frag him. I'm shooting at him. I've shot 15 bullets out my Mac 10 magazine, and he's okay. I'm dead.
Yeah. And if you're in Chappie's shoes, you're just spraying with the deagle, just hoping.
Yeah.
That either 2 connect with the body or 1 connect with the head. And
exactly. Yeah, it's like, might as well just toss a coin.
Yeah, exactly. It's gambling at this stage. Don't gamble underage, kids. It's bad for you.
Frozen gambling on which angle he should be watching right now. He's going to get smoked off, but that's not going to be enough to try and deny him looking to take the fight. Now he goes down here to Ninja. Sure. Yeah, certainly. Not necessary either. And it looks like off the back of that, Big 5 are going to try and edge their way in towards this B bomb site where only Ruben lies in wait. And there's not any immediate support for him either. So, going to be a tough ask for him. And you can see that Sinister 5 are still hedging their bets towards the safe site right now. They think that Big 5 are going to be coming through Connector onto A, but that is not the case. And Ruben is going to be very momentarily finding out that he needs some support. Does land 1 shot onto Leggy. He's already so damn low. If he can find 1 kill at least, that would be decent. And he's going to find that first frag, but he's been rounded on. This was a force buy, remember, from Sinister 5.
Just save the guns, surely.
Yeah.
Chappie's got a deagle. The man who's opened up the round, he's just going to be closing it. Exiting with his deagle and armor. And I think if Shia saves that scout, all things considered, I mean, he's got a deagle. He can drop over a deagle to his teammates, and then that's some weaponry in which he can do damage in the next. So maybe Chappie's going to try scavenge that scout. He's going to take God's Not Dead's head off in the meantime. Which is great. He's going to reply. Oh my goodness.
Okay, so 6-11, yeah, it's going to be an eco round for Sinister 5, so it should be 7-11. And then we have a game on our hands, especially if Big 5 can win that first gun round, right? That'll be really what sort of sets us in motion heading into the rest of the second half here. If Sinister 5 win the gun round, then we probably expect them to close it out fairly quickly from that point. Chappie with the Zeus. is in lowers right now, and he's going to have Doobie on the opposite side momentarily. Does Chappie swing out here? Finds the timing, but he can't connect on the shot. So that's the... Yeah, I know, right? I was like, there's any hope of entertainment in this round. Gone.
Finished. Rip. Aish.
Unlucky.
Yeah, Lushko.
Or you could go with like the unlucky. I don't know, all the kids are doing that these days.
Unlucky.
Unlucky. Unlucky.
What my Zulu teacher would always say is just no luck. Say no luck.
No luck.
It's like a little bit of a play on the words, you know. You have unlucky and then he just goes no luck, just pulling a young 180, you know?
Yeah, I like that. Do you still learn Zulu?
No.
Or did you?
I got like 14% in grade 6. It was atrocious. It was shambolic.
I think we should all know African languages, to be fair.
I agree.
Not that I do, so I'm not
yeah.
Not throwing stones from a glass house. I'm just as guilty. I'm gonna work on it though. I plan on doing like one of those classes, you know, where you do it like part-time type of thing through some sort of agency or something else.
Yeah. I just wish, like, I know some people find learning languages easier than others, and I just wish I was one of those who just picked up a language like relatively easy. I know.
I think the best way is,
apparently there's something about like if you've learned a language, the likelihood of you learning another language makes it easier because you unlock parts of your brain that allow for like a different language learning, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah, that is super fascinating actually, man. I think experience is like one of the best ways to learn the language, like actually speaking it, not just you know, learning the rules and regulations and the terms and conditions. Man, English is actually apparently one of the hardest languages to learn, but the language we're speaking right now is Counter-Strike, 7-11. And Sinister 5 have got the double ops in play. It's the first full gun round of the second half, Nick. You guys are going to be rolling the giveaway soon after this round, most likely. So last opportunity to get yourself entered if you haven't already. Yorba is the keyword for these shirts. So yeah, like I said, if you've entered already, don't enter again. Not case sensitive. Let's see who's taking that home. Let's see who's taking this round home. At the moment, Big 5 are in a good position.
Yeah, really good
try and split onto this B site. Lately with the AWP is going to be a really important defense here. Drops a smoke to give himself some cover. There's actually some rotations that's going to free up from Sinister 5, so they've got some numbers to try and deal with this. Frozen has shown his hand, so they'll be aware of his position. And right now, Lately is the key, but Frozen somehow has been able to find a third kill in that position. I'm just constantly waiting for Lately to be able to activate, but it's Frozen who's getting all the heavy lifting done, and he's going to get a quad kill in the round as well. Somehow he's able to stay alive for such an elongated period. He keeps on picking off Big 5 one by one as they desperately try to trade him out, but he hits shots after shots and buries Big 5 in the ground.
Yeah, that was just a really solid hold coming out from Frozen. I mean, the rotate was coming in from Chappie and he was caught holding a flashbang or something in hand. And then Frozen, he just steps up to the plate, just hitting his shots. Absolutely phenomenal work coming out from him. Locking down that B bomb site, ensuring that Big 5 have no say into posting a gun round. In that round, that isn't.
Yeah.
Just like that, the buy is not looking too great. They've purchased up 3 rifles, a couple deagles as well, full bolt of utility on 2 of the players.
Big round. What did Big 5 try and put together here? They've got the Lego blocks. What are they going to construct?
By the way, Storm SWAT won the giveaway, in case you didn't know.
Oh, it got rolled?
Yeah.
My bad. Congratulations, Storm SWAT. You're going to be taking home one of these sick Evesports EGL 1 Season 2 shirts, mate. Enjoy. I hope that gets put to good use. And Frozen looking to put this AWP to good use. Nick, he's pushing up through Palace right now. He's going to be getting all the audio cues in the world. Coming around the corner. Up close to Ninja. He misses the no-scope. And he actually loses his head. Do Big 5 change the plan? Do they reconsider their options? Are they just going to be committing to A? It looks like it's going to be the latter right now. They haven't put the brakes on. They continue to charge forward. Ninja's with the AWP. He's still hanging back in Palace. Leggy hasn't got a clear avenue to plant, by the way. There's no smoke to block off CT, so they're going to have to take the fights. Sheer, he's the man of the moment right now. Spraying, he's able to find one, and he does decent damage, but it's not going to be lethal. Doobie finds Chappie on a massive kill, and now it falls on Ruben and Ninjas. Ruben going to be flashing himself over the top, but in turn he's been flashed as well, and now it's just Lately left in the clutch. He's been able to get very far forward, but he does get found out by Ninja's AWP, and Big 5 fiercely fight their way back into the round and keep themselves in the hunt here on Mirage.
Yeah, just an audacious play coming out from Frozen in Palace, right? I mean, he's got all that info to deal with, but next thing you know, he's trying to push like T spawn almost with the AWP, and he's already been fed with boatloads of utility. I mean, boatloads of information, and he's just caught out. And imagine if that duel went completely a different way, then maybe Big 5 had no say in winning that round. But just like that, 11-4 was the difference, 7 that was.
Yeah.
And now it's cut down to 4, and Sin 5 look like they're staring an eco in the face, and maybe even a double at that. Oh, they've got 3
Yeah, no, they've got...
I was getting a bit ahead of myself.
Yeah.
I'm trying to paint the picture. Oh, getting super close. But it wasn't. It's not.
Yeah, it's not too far from being that close, though. I mean, 12-9. After the next gun round, if Big 5 win it 12-10 and it's an eco, 12-11, I mean, that's not too far of a realm possibility. Oh my god. I mean, a huge amounts of damage done there by Ninjas, but the problem is that the bomb is in T-spawn, Nick. So that means they're going to take super long to get it, and not only that, but I think Ruben's been undetected. He's got the cloak of invisibility on right now, and he's just sitting in the corner waiting for the bomb carrier to come through right now. Big 5 think they've completely secured the site. This could be the undoing right now. There we go. Doobie in the first. No, Ruben, he fires early, but he's still going to be able to get the kill. The chaos ensues. Leggy and God's not dead. They're going to be after 2 players to ensure this round and get across the line. And looks like they may just have done enough. It's only Lately left now in the 1 versus 2 clutch. He's able to find the first. Lately again, or rather Lately again, missing a shot. He's gonna go down. Lately hits the pinpoint accuracy headshot, secures the 1 versus 2. Sinister 5 win the eco, and Big 5 are gonna be absolutely distraught after that.
The fact that just Van went unchecked and an eco push on the ramp meant that a rifle or 2 was able to be retrieved, and just like that, we're speaking about Big 5 possibly having an avenue into winning this game. Or getting into close contention at that, at least. And just like that, next thing you know, Sin 5 win effectively a full eco, just a couple P250s. I don't think a single Sin 5 player had armor that round.
No.
That was an absolute gift coming out from Big 5 and Sin 5. They're going to munch that up. Next thing you know, it's EXE in a 1v5. And that nation dunk it out.
Yeah, this is the problem. I mean, Sinister 5 also make their anti-eco round very clean. So that's going to bode super well for their economy. And considering they're so far ahead, the fact that they have that extra buffer now with their economy, that sets them up so nicely, man. This Sinister 5 team is primed and ready to close this series out 2-0. And winning this round right here pretty much all but does exactly that.
Yeah, now Big 5's backs are against the wall. I don't think there's been this big of a deficit in the game so far. 6 rounds between the 2.
Frozen on the angle with the AWP, going to be contested. Needs to keep himself alive here. One of the key players in this middle defense. Sinister 5 haven't been putting too much stock in this mid defense. They've been happy to just sort of play it from the fringes. They have been changing it up. But this time around, Big 5 have been able to get themselves into connector relatively scot-free until Frozen times his peak and actually gets a kill once again, being the catalyst here for Sinister 5. Now the execute starts to find a bit of momentum. God's not dead, picks up 2 kills, but his teammates have been dropping. He drops as well, and now it's Leggy, left in the 1 versus 3 turn, 1 versus 2. He's got time on his side, he's got the clock, or rather he's got the bomb on his back, but he doesn't have any HP points to work with after Frozen takes him down. The player who opened up the round for Sinister 5 is the player who closes it out as well. And now we have the final point here. 7 map and match points for Sinister 5 to win this map, win the series 2-0, progress to the top 4 at the bare minimum, and eliminate Big 5 from EGL 1 Season 2.
Yeah, and everything just seems to be going Sinister 5's way, playing really stand-up Counter-Strike. They're winning the ecos and they're making the gun round super competitive, which meant that pretty much the whole time, even when Big 5 were winning a stretch of rounds, made sure that the economy was going to be under check. Ruben over towards the B-bomb side's going to open things up, and possibly the last round. Lately's going to lock them down. It does look like it's pretty much going to be all she wrote. The 3 pistols are probably not going to have much of a say in this one. Frozen is going to take out Leggy. I'm pretty sure Doobie, he can't get anything done. 16-8. 2-0.
Yeah. Wow, guys, just to let you know, we do have an interview coming up with Chappie, so don't go anywhere before we bring him in here. Nick, what a compelling series that was from Sinister 5, picking the win up 2-0. They had to grind that one out on the first map. They win it pretty comfortably on Mirage, and in fact, before we even bring our say into the conversation, let's get Chappie straight in here, man. There we go. Welcome, Chappie. I'm sure you're on a bit of a high after that one. Coming off a clean victory on Mirage. You were looking great individually as well, but let's draw this one all the way back to the start of the series. Coming up against Big 5 here in this lower bracket semi-final, you knew they were playing with a stand-in. How did that affect you guys mentally coming into this match?
You know what? We knew that we're going to be a stand-in, but you know, let's be honest, it is EXE. He is the bravado player, so coming into the game, we expected them to pick something a little bit more puggy. We also know that Inferno is their home ground. But in all honesty, we sat there, we were like, okay, they're probably going to pick a dust, and then we just anticipated it. And obviously, when the pick came through of the dust, we were a little bit relieved. But you know what? They are still a very strong team. I'm not going to lie on that front. Even with the stand-in, very, very big credit to those guys. Very, very good fight from them as well.
I mean, in all honesty, Dust is probably one of the most entertaining games that I've seen in an extremely long time. And
yeah,
obviously that match ended up, what, 22-18, absolutely marathon of a time. And I just want to know, obviously, you being the IGL of Sinister 5, you really have to dig deep in the strat book when you have these overtimes come out and possibly the eco is not looking too great. How was it calling in those high intensity situations where you've already flunked a couple of match points? Sorry to throw you under the bus, but you've already failed to close down regulation. What happened in overtime? Was it just, did you just flick a switch, or it seemed to just be go so solid in the second overtime? I just want to know, like, pick your brain on like what went so well in that second overtime.
You know what? I can't take the credit for this one. Recently, we've actually changed IGLs. We've adapted a more, I don't know if it actually works well enough for us, but Ruben has taken over the IGL, and it has allowed me to actually be more of a supportive player. And then in that regard, I'm more in the action, so then I can call those on-the-fly types of strats and stuff like that, that I can see that I'm in the contact and can actually support the IGL then a little bit better. But you know what? We have our protocols, and in the end of the day, I think when we swapped over from that 3-0, we just kept on saying, protocols. And you know what? Every now and again, when the guys are getting a little bit childish and getting a little bit rousy, you know what? We just call guys, settle down, chill, let's move on, go again.
Awesome. Yeah, you guys are actually able to reset really nicely on Dust 2, even though, as you say, you had lost 5 map points prior to that one in the second.
Don't remind me.
Then you finally get across the line, and I'm sure you guys were in much better spirits going into Mirage than what you would have been if you had actually ended up losing Dust 2. So coming into Mirage, your guys' map pick, you guys have been looking pretty good on the map in general as well. I'm sure you guys were very comfortable. You start things off on the T side, and you guys just actually start to find some great momentum. It's actually really funny that you tell us now that Rubens has been calling, because I was like, this is such a Chappie-esque T side. Like this guy's calling just like Chappie always does. It's looking just like Chappie, and it's like, yeah, no, Ruben was calling. So there we go. That's a nice little laugh. But that T side looked like you gelled very nicely. You guys were changing things up but keeping it simple. What was the mentality in that team throughout the half?
You know what? We kept on just having the same protocols. So, like, we had our A executes, we had our double pumps towards the A side, we had our splits and stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, it took a lot of effort. You guys saying we look well, I think I speak for all the boys. Thank you very much. But it's been a rough ride. We've been slapped by DNMK 16-2. So like, it's been a rough time. We keep on switching things up, and I think it was last week when we did a little bit of prep for overpass, and then somehow along the line I got some stuff prepped for the Mirage as well, so it got a little bit better on the CT side specifically. But on our T side, you know what, we have been working hard. I mean, if you think back to, I think it was the Nodwin, Online Kingdom was a very strong team on that map, and bringing in the little bit of extra stuffies here and there, you know what, I think we've got a really strong T side. Most of our maps actually, I feel personally we have a strong T side. It is that CT side. And recently we've just been going through more protocols, making sure that everyone knows and understands what to do. And going back to the mentality question, is we were calm. Like on most of the occasions, we knew they were running a double AWP, and then everyone was calling, and then I just said, listen, we know what it is. We know double AWP means either for something fast, or then we go for the standard executes and stuff. After that, we got a little bit more calm, and everyone started picking up, just chilling out all over the map. And I think, yeah, overall it was a very good game.
So it sounds like you've dropped the reins of EGL, but it does seem like you've definitely a big voice in the team, and in the TS at least. It sounds like you do chip in now and then. Maybe is it Ruben calling throughout all the maps, or is there some maps where you are more comfortable to call, or is there some sort of different change? Have you changed roles completely, or is it still like 50-50 sort of thing?
I started off with believing that Ruben would be a beautiful anchor for our teams, and just making sure that one side of the map is always under lock and key, and he's been doing that phenomenally. And for myself, I've been juggling around through the entry fragging, and recently I found myself a little bit under the support role, and that has been working well for me. So in our roles perspective, we didn't really change it, but what the IGLing perspective came from is it allowed Ruben to sit a little bit further back and just call what he sees in the early round stages. It allowed me to have a bigger voice on saying, listen, this, and obviously we have lately the general rat going in for all these ratty plays, and the guy with the long neck, he's going in clutch most of the time. Yes, yeah. So he's getting all that information and just continuously feeding it to us. And back to the IGL, I don't generally IGL anymore. I do make some calls every now and again, but my perspective at the moment, I'm more of a secondary caller. So I'm in the shit, I am there, and it works a lot better because now I don't have to control everyone while I'm still IGLing. I can just rather say, let's do this on the fly, and everyone's just like, yes. So no one's in my own head anymore. I can rather do that stuff in the practice service, make sure everyone helps me, and we work together as a squad. And then if we have something on the run, we can obviously apply that.
Yeah, awesome. Now, I've got one more question for you, Chappie, before I give it to Nick, and then we let you get going. How's things actually starting to feel with the Sinister 5 team now? Because you guys have been together for a while since you brought Frozen into the mix to replace Jumperlot. I mean, you guys have had some time now to iron things out. You've already mentioned a couple times that you guys have been working very hard on your protocols and how you're going to be approaching your CT sides. Your T sides are coming together now as well. You guys starting, like what sort of percentage of your capacity, of your true potential, would you say you guys are at right now?
You know what? In all honesty, we can always work harder. We can always do better. Percentage-wise, I think if I'm giving myself a gold star, I would probably say 60%. If I'm being completely honest, the calling system we are currently bringing in a new calling type of system, so that's then being applied. So it is quite messy in the comms area. I think it was last week some points. I think it was against the DNMK boys where everyone just started flooding, and then I just like say, hey, calm down, let's move on, let's reset. And that whole comm situation, we're all trying to comm what we're seeing, what's happening. So I think the moment we realize that a little bit more, obviously we have Sheer and Frozen, who's a little bit more of the softer type, so they don't generally call as much. And that sometimes when they feel something, that extra voice stepping in every now and again, it makes it a little bit hectic when we're trying to either execute or stuff like that. But further than that, the calling system is coming in. We are trying to change a lot of stuff continuously, making sure that we evolve. I mean, if I have to compare one team that did this the best, specifically in our country, it's ATK. They continuously worked hard, continuously made changes, and that in the end worked so well into their favors that I don't think they've actually dropped the tournament yet. So continuously working hard, I think that's probably the perspective. And if I come and let me be honest, I don't think my team is at 100%. There's so much we can improve on, and so much that we can still learn in the game. Even though I'm probably the veteran, I'm probably going to be the guy that tells them, nah, shut up, we got to learn, we got to move on.
Okay, so now looking forward, obviously you progressed into the lower brackets, you've successfully knocked Big 5 out. Obviously they're still going to have the playoff for that 5th, 6th spot, but now you face the winner of DNMK White Rabbit Gaming. So before I let you go, I got to get a prediction from that. Who do you think is going to take it? Who do you think is looking better going into that game? And ultimately, who are you going to face in the next round?
You know what? So let's quickly add our odds. DNMK, they have got some of the strongest aimers in the country. I mean, Divo, Doru, there's your two main people already with very strong aim. They've got a good IGL in Heartbreak, making sure he's continuously changing his plays and stuff like that. Kanye, I'm not even going to mention it. The old guy, he's always picks up. He always performs. we can go on and on and on. And Nexus is obviously there, making sure that he supports his team, entry frags when he needs us. He's really filling out the roles. And then obviously Bright Rabbit Gaming, all out a solid roster. I think they still haven't reached their limit. I do believe that, that team can really perform well. I think if they can integrate a few more smaller stuff. I mean, last year when we played Energy, Panda was a fear on that CT side because he could IGL the CT side in his way and go for his type of style and go for the picks on the AWP. I'm still very keen to actually see that being applied with Fools. And I think generally, let's be honest, that team has got a very few sick aimers as well. So I can't deny that as well. I think it's going to be coming down to who's more prepped on the day. I think, let's be honest, probably the guy that does the most prep in the country is Byron. I don't think anyone comes close to that. But it's just going to be a question of who knows what the other team is doing. I know Panda is very good at that. So we'll just have to wait and see who then does that. My prediction, ish. If I had to guess it, I would probably say it's going to be... Ish. I'm trying to add these two games.
Welcome to our job.
I thought you were dodging the question the whole time. But we finally got to the juice.
I think it's... I'm gonna call it on White Rabbit. I'm gonna call it for White Rabbit. I don't think that DNMK is a bad team at all. I think it's gonna come down to who performs. I think in the last game that we played them, Diver was insane, and he was continuously just blocksoming us left, right, and center. So that was something very hectically for us. But I think it's really gonna be who steps up in that server and who's gonna be able to. Like I said, I think WRG is probably gonna be a stronger team as a whole. But I can't deny the fact that DNMK is still a strong team.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to say, Chappie, thank you for sharing all your thoughts with us because you've definitely given us some like genuine, true insights. Like a lot of people are super media trained and give like very media generic answers, but you just speak honesty and off the cuff and from the
heart. If I ask someone else who's
always...
going to win between DNMK and WRG, someone would just be like, oh, DNMK.
Nah, man.
Or they just say like, oh, no, it's going to be a close game. We'll see what happens.
I don't know, bro. I don't know.
So,
anyone.
It's very difficult. It's very difficult to establish the top. Like, obviously, we have ATK at the top. And then we've recently beaten DNMK.
Teams.
White Rabbit Gaming has recently
talking about
it. It's hectic. It's Goliath. It's Sin 5. It's Big 5. It's White Rabbit Gaming.
WRG.
And there you go. It's very tightly. They're going to come up very soon. They're still starting out. We have scrimmed in the team. Those aimers look insane. It's going to be very shortly. We're going to have a very tightly contested team. And then, like I said, it's going to come down to who works the hardest, who doesn't just sit there and just like take all the glory and actually sits back, re-goes and re-watches and re-works,
Yeah, absolutely. So, Mr. Chappie, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your thoughts with us and giving us some awesome insights. We wish you all the best for your next game coming up, but also for now, focus on the win. Congratulations on marching on and beating Big 5, brother.
Thank you guys very much. And you know what? I've got my EveTech shirt here.
Yeah.
Laka.
Awesome.
I needed to add that in for... what's his name? The coach of the WRG females teams. But yeah,
Recoil.
Yeah. There you go. Need to brag a little bit about that. So, no, but thank you very much for the win, guys. We're gonna go ahead and celebrate and then have a little team meeting. Have a good evening, gents.
Okay, awesome, sweet. Cheers, Chappie. Awesome stuff. So there we go. That's Chappie. I love how he's like, thank you for the win. It's like, yeah, no, it's absolute pleasure, G. Guys, whoever's playing their games in the future, hit Nick and I up in our Twitter DMs, $50 per win. We can make it happen for you. we can do something, guys. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure having you at our side. Unfortunately, commiserations to Big 5 as their run here in EGL 1 Season 2 has come to an end as they fall at the hands of Sinister 520. It was a bit of an unfortunate situation for Big 5 throughout this event. The fact that they've constantly been changing players and having to play with different names throughout this event has made it a pretty turbulent one for them. So all things considered, I think that they've done all right. Probably would have expected to make the top 4 coming into it, but like I said, because it's been a little bit of a rough run for them, it's understandable. And now they can focus on their proper core roster going into the future events. As for Sinister 5, they showed that they are here and that they mean business. They'll be playing against the winner of WRG versus DNMK, which happens on Thursday, 7:30 on this very channel, guys. Make sure you join us. Nick, what are your final words for the lads?
I mean, all I gotta say is the only way you know when we're live, the only way you know when we're broadcasting is by following on socials, So follow Evesports on Twitter, subscribe, hit the bell icon so when we go live next, and then, in all honesty, catch you on Thursday, eh?
There we go. You heard it, guys. We're going to cash on Thursday. Thank you so much for joining us. Until then, keep well. All the love in the world. And make sure you join us for DNMK and WRG because it's going to be an absolute banger. But until then, cheers.